views and opinions expressed in this program are those of the participants and do not necessarily reflect the views of BronxNet or the program underwriters.
Welcome to Community Board 12 at 4101 White Plains Road on September 28th at 7:40 Eastern Standard Time. We begin our meeting. Those of us who wish to join, would you please stand for the pledge of allegiance to our flag? I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Would you please remain standing and just a moment of silence for those members in the Caribbean and Puerto Rico who have suffered the devastation of the hurricane last week. I'm going to ask Carmen to say a prayer out loud for them, and I want us all to just keep our heads bowed for this moment.
Father God, we're here as a community, and at the same time feeling pain for our sisters and brothers in the island, Dominica, Angola, and Martinique, and especially Puerto Rico. We also will pray for Texas and Florida. But at this time, let's put our hearts together and ask Father, the Lord, to be able to sit by all those that are suffering. They're suffering, and we don't know. We see it on TV. So imagine, when you see those things on TV, we feel that this is a third world country, even though we are getting there ourselves in the United States, because we are not helping each other out in this time of need. Take it, as I say, sometimes we ask for a lot, but at this time what we're asking for is prayers and courage for our people. Amen.
Amen. Thank you, Carmen. Okay, be seated. Okay, folks, I just want to also mention that our second vice chair is Bill. He's in the hospital. John Isaac, he's home now. He's doing a little better. So that just a praise will also go to him as well. Okay, welcome back. We've had a long summer. A lot has happened. A lot is happening. And I'm happy to see all my board members and the community come together here. We have a very extensive meeting tonight. We have three land use committee BSA calendar changes that our chair is going to work through tonight. So I'm going to run through our program diligently so that we don't keep you guys here all night tonight. Okay. So just bear with us. I think tonight what we're going to do with Community Speaks is have 2 minutes instead of the 3 minutes, so we'll be able to expedite that in addition to moving ahead to work with our minutes. So now, also the approval of our minutes from June 22nd meeting will be postponed to next month. We have some technical difficulties, so we will postpone that until next month. Therefore, we're going to go right to the district manager's report. That will be next on our agenda. George, so if you're ready, give us your brief report, and we'll take it from there.
Community Speaks.
George's report first, then we'll just so we can get.
I'm giving my district manager.
Yes.
All right.
Get that in.
Good evening, everyone.
Good evening.
And welcome back. Where is Ursula? Ursula, if you within hear my voice, please come over here. I hope everyone had a wonderful summer and is ready to go for the remainder of this year And for the sake of brevity, I'm just going to highlight some of the stuff that's upcoming that we've been working on. But that's why I wanted Ursula to come here today. I wanted to recognize the heart and soul of Community Board 12, and that's Ursula Green. Today is her birthday. She's very embarrassed.
Okay.
She asked me not to do this.
Well,
I do want to say, though, that it has been my pleasure and an honor to work alongside her. I learned a great deal, and she remains one of the very reasons that I love coming to the office every day. But on that note, it should be noted that we had a very long day today. So I asked my board members to also be very brief and take that into consideration because we want to go home early today. My second point is the building has had sporadic phone outages for the last 2 weeks. Anybody who's tried to call our office has known that we've had this issue. DO-IT is aware of it, and they're working on it. However, it should be noted, and maybe with some foresight on our part, we have 2 phones. Our new phones are operational. Our new lines are operational. I would suggest to everybody that they just call the new lines. The reason we haven't transitioned officially yet is because we're waiting for DO-IT to put that phone message on our old phone that redirects people to our new phone number. But the new phone number is 718-944-3300. Once again, 718-944-3300. We've asked DO-IT to update our website so that it is reflective of that. I've given this number out at previous board meetings, so our board members should have this, but again, it's 718-944-3300. Those phones are not impacted by what happened. I don't know why. As a matter of fact, I think it's kind of spurred the rest of the building, because I said the whole building is out, Consumer Affairs is out, as is the district attorney's office, and we've had people in here cabling because they're all going to transition over to the new system that we have as well. My third point, and this is a fairly important one, I don't have the information, but we did email it to everyone. DSNY, the Department of Sanitation, is holding a public hearing on October 19th of this year in their offices at 125 Worth Street. I believe we shared this information with everyone via email, but I'll also be posting it on our Facebook page. The reason for the public hearing is the siting of a waste transfer station near the Bronx River Parkway, which is considered parkland. Waste transfer stations cannot be located near parkland. This is a proposal to change the rule. The reason that you cannot have a waste transfer station is because they make noise, and you're not supposed to have noise-making facilities next to parkland. This is a policy or rule, or an amendment to the rule or amendment to the policy to change the rule so that they can put this waste transfer station there. If anybody in the audience wants this information, again, we'll be putting it on our Facebook page, but if you come to me on the side, I'll also make photocopies for you and give it to you if anybody's interested in testifying. Again, you can testify. They have 5 different ways. All of it is explicit in the form that they sent out. Again, we'll give it to everyone and they can have it. My fourth point is PS19 is looking to put, is Tim Sullivan here, the principal of PS19? He said he might come. PS19 is a school in Woodlawn. They're putting in an application for Play Street with DOT. This is great news for the board because we've long advocated for and prioritized an expansion of PS19. It looks like SCA, the School Construction Authority, is finally getting done. It is finally getting around to it, but it comes with growing pains. They will not have access, that is the students, to a schoolyard for close to 2 years. It is my understanding that the application has to be back to DOT by November 1st. So I told the principal when we spoke yesterday that he had to come to committee and he had to come to the full board and explain himself. So I know he was busy today. Yesterday was PTA, and my understanding is today was something else that was going on. So he said he would try and make it. If he can, he'll come and explain what's going on with that. And my final point is, and Bill will attest to this is the second year in a row that Community Board 12 has hosted borough budget consultations here in our offices. Our chairman, William Hall, has attended and chaired several of those meetings. It's important because the opportunity for community boards to communicate directly with city agencies about the needs facing each of our respective districts is articulated during these sessions. We started today at 9:30. We literally finished at 5 o'clock, and then we started setting up for this meeting this evening. I like to think that they were successful. Again, PS 19 and other things that have happened in this district are a direct result of those interactions with these agencies. They tell us what's going on. We communicate those, or we communicate what they're telling us to our board members and to the public at large as well. And I take these meetings very seriously. Some people don't, because I shouldn't say that it's not very well attended, but there are glaring absences. In conclusion, today marks my 787th day as your district manager, or 2 years, 1 month, and 25th day of my tenure. I look forward to each and every day at the board. Thank you.
Thank you.
I'm sorry, Ursula is here.
Uh-huh.
She was able to hear what we said about her.
Okay.
But it
Happy
is
birthday,
truly an
Ursula.
honor. Happy birthday, Ursula.
Yeah. And I just want to preface that she was here all day with us. She didn't have a minute off on her birthday, so we have to do something about that. So, okay. All right, I'm going to move to committee reports now because I want to move on these committee reports because we're going to really be going through the agenda for the land use. So are there any committee reports? And I'm going to ask if they are that you be brief, give us the overview, and give us the details in the written report. So are there any committee reports? Okay, Economic Committee will do first. Hi, welcome back.
My throat hangs in there. I've been having a little problem with my throat this past couple of
Okay, do the best you can.
In the past 2 months, we've had a total of 7 businesses. They're either for new or renewal of their liquor licenses. Of those 7 that came, there is one, Barry's Restaurant, located at 707 East 235th Street. They wanted to renew their wine, beer, and cider. That license, my recommendation is not to approve, and I'm also backed on this by 47th Precinct. They have too many complaints, too many substantiated complaints, and we do not feel they should no longer have that liquor license.
Okay.
The name again is Barry's Restaurant, 707 East 235th Street. They were supposed to be for a wine, beer, and cider license. We're scratching that one. Gun Hill Brewing Company, they're renewing their beer and cider license, which they've had for quite some time now. We're in favor of approving theirs. The Eastwood Manor, they're also renewing theirs. They have an on-premise liquor license. An on-premise liquor license is a full liquor license. We're also approving their renewal. My Dreams, they're located at 3429 East Chester Road. There also is an on-premise liquor license, which is a full license, and it's brand new. We recommended their approval at the last minute, which is the last minute I'm referring to today when I walked in here. I was told by Lieutenant Michael Kaiser on the 47th Precinct, the Special Operations Lieutenant. He says that My Dreams have a problematic history. When we sat down with them, there was no proof of any problems with them. Although, after we approved it, We went by, one of my committee members drove by that business, and their music was loud that you could actually hear it across the street. So we're also going to make a surprise visit and see what goes on. Numero uno, Sabor Latino, at 4120 White Plains Road. There's a renewal for their wine, beer, and cider license. We recommend approval for them. 5 Point Banquet Hall, Incorporated. They're located at 3308 White Plains Road. It's also a wine, beer, and cider license. We also recommend approval for them. Pyramid Exotic Bar and Restaurant. That is an on-premise liquor license which is full. We're recommending approval of their license also. That is the end of it, and hoping that you go along with our recommendation.
Okay, thank you. Mr. Vice Chair, we have to take 2 votes, is that correct? One to accept the report of the committee, and the other to, and we just have to take 1 vote, Mr. Vice Chair. We have to take 2 votes?
2 votes, one
Two
to
votes.
accept the committee report, and then one to approve sending out the letter. to
The letters, okay. So, Carmen, we're gonna take 2 votes, all right? And if you would just, sort of further question. Oh, I'm sorry. Dr. Burke.
This is testing. Anyway, the question is for the chair of the economic committee. Can you, my dreams, what type of establishment is, I know.
Give him another mic, please.
Just flip the on switch.
What type of establishment is my dreams? I mean, when I think of something called my dreams, I'm thinking something, I don't want to say, so what type of establishment is my dream?
It's a small restaurant that also wants to sell alcoholic beverages.
So it's just a restaurant?
Basically, yes.
What is it basically?
It is a restaurant, but they also sell liquor. Alcoholic beverages, not liquor. Alcoholic beverages.
Okay.
I'm sorry, Mr. Chair. The only other one that concerns me is the exotic bar, Pyramid Exotic Bar.
You're going to find in this neighborhood, in this district, a lot of names that seem weird for the type of business that they have. That's nothing that we cannot control, what names they pick.
Thank you.
Okay. All right, call the question.
So there's no second needed to the report, so we're going to take a roll call vote on approval of the committee report to us.
Everything you want? Yes, no, we're gonna do first the
Approval
approval of the report. Just approval of the report. Franklin Alapo. Benitez Judith. Bennett Aguirre.
Aye.
Barry Hazel. Bloomfield Hillary. Boris Ivan.
Aye.
Bersotti Carla.
Aye.
Brown Ellen Marlene.
Aye.
Victor Brown.
Abstain.
Deacon Edward Brown. Aye. Brian Norbit. Aye. Dr. Michael Burke.
Aye.
Sadie Campbell. Christian Evelyn. Clark Gale.
Aye.
Joan Clark. Not here. Coleman Bernicia. Dickinson Torleen. Esmond Lauda. Not here. Evans Raymond. Not here. Figueroa Alfredo. Not here. Gibson LaGrant Barbara. Johnny Goff. Not here. Green Chantel. Robert Hall. William Hall. Lisa Hayes. Horton April, not here. Isaac John is excused. James Theodore. Lanzano Carl. Martine Lucille, not here. Cloud Mary. Cloud Mary, aye. McNeil Walter, not here. More, McNeil? I'm sorry. Okay, aye. More Angela. Okay, not here. Mike Clinton. Ortiz Carmen, aye. Porter Frank. Powell Claudia. Reed Anthony. Dr. Renita Robbins is not here. Felix Roldan. Sulky I.C. May Thomas, not here. Carl Stricker. Weir Nicole. And Norma Wiles. Not here, right? Okay, the ayes got it.
Okay, the ayes have it. Now, in the interest of time, because we're trying to really move the meeting tonight, can we record everyone's vote the same to send the letter? Does anybody have any objection to that?
Somebody make a motion.
Make a motion to record, and also we don't have to take this vote again.
So,
The motion is to,
You have to make a motion
to send the letter SLA.
on the recommendation of the...
okay, so I'd like to make a motion to send a letter to SLA on the recommendation of the Economic and Business Services Committee Chair.
Yes,
Okay.
I second it.
Okay, all right,
Now we take a vote.
okay. All right, and my question is, can we use your same vote that we just took?
We'll just ask anybody else.
Does anybody object? Anybody want to change the vote from?
Everybody going to vote the same?
All right, we have two objections. Dr. Okay.
All right, so I'll have to call back the names, okay?
All right, just the names that, no, just the three names that, we just have three people.
Okay, so
Dr.
can I have
Burke,
the three names?
Dr. Burke,
Dr. Burke,
Egeria Bennett,
right?
Egeria Bennett, and, okay.
Who was the other one?
We have Egeria Bennett. Hello again. Mr., your name? No, Victor Brown. Okay, so we have three.
And who else?
Just three, that's it. Just three.
Three?
It's three. So
Missing one.
Egeria Bennett, Dr. Burke,
Bennett,
Mr. Brown. Yeah,
Burke,
yep, and Mr. Brown.
and Victor Brown.
Right. So the ayes still have it. Okay, thank you. We just want to keep this moving. Okay, thank you, Mr. Economic, and it's good to see you. Hope you had a good summer. Okay. All right, another committee report, and we're really trying to keep it moving. Okay, Bob.
Okay, in the interest of time, on the 26th, on Tuesday, the Housing Committee met with the New York City Housing Authority Intergenerational Program. NYCHA, because of their financial deficit, has decided to rid themselves of the 8 city and state developments in increments. Unfortunately, Baychester houses, with their 441 units, will be up for an RFP in order to obtain a private management team. There will be a 20-year contract, and since this process is still in a transitional stage, there will be questions regarding the maintenance of affordable housing. Ladies and gentlemen, that being said, we were visited by the present generation of NYCHA leadership. We welcomed what appeared to be a breath of fresh air. People with actual experience in affordable housing. What we soon learned, however, was that affordable housing was a term not meant to encompass public housing, but rather a vehicle for removing public housing and replacing it with affordable housing. Okay? Now this is where we stand as we speak. However, I'm very fortunate because at our committee meeting, the chair of Bronx South, the newly formed chair of Bronx South, was on hand, and there will be some movement with regards to low-income housing. Number one, on the 8th of October, there will be a rally on 10th Avenue. They probably will march to the Supreme Court House on 161st Street. That will take place at 1 p.m., and a lot of the NYCHA presidents will be on hand to speak with regards to the actions that NYCHA has been taking in selling off these individual housing developments, all right? I personally will be on hand to speak on the radio show on Wednesday at 90.3 FM between the hours of 5 and 6 p.m. concerning the devastation that is now taking place within the confines of the New York City Housing Authority. And I'd like to take this quick moment to thank Carl Anzano, Dr. Burke, okay, along with Deacon Brown, all right, for attending this very important meeting that took place. More news will be forthcoming. That'll hand it for now. Thank you, Mr. Chairman.
Just a quick question now. Is this something that's happening, or could happen?
This is happening as we speak. It is the first time that they have decided to take one of our unfunded, it's an unfunded development. They have no state funding coming in. They've existed off of our federal funds. But there are 8 developments, and unfortunately, Baychester was chosen to be succeeded first. It's a process, and one of the things that we did do in our conversation, which took place 48 hours ago, we were able to let them put in the RFP that residents should be at the table to make decisions in the best interest of the development at hand. And that's why I want to thank the board members, because they were very intriguing and very pivotal in making this happen. But there'll be more conversations with regards to this, but in the interest of time, if anybody wants to talk to me, I will be available. Okay? Thank you, Mr. Chairman.
Thank you. Please keep us informed. There's no vote. It's just
No
informative.
recommendation at this time.
Okay. Thank you. And keep us informed. Yes.
Yes, ma'am.
Is there anything that the board can do? Good evening. Is there anything that the board can do as far as like write a letter to anybody besides rallies? We're definitely going to do that. But is there anything that we can do to continue to bring awareness to this? Because I think it's a really big deal.
At this precise moment, no. However, all right, opportunities will exist. And once again, we're in a political year. Our homelessness, all of these shortcomings, all right, we have the leadership that's in place. They need to be held accountable, all right? But that being said, I'll keep you aware of what's happening.
Okay,
Thank you.
please do. Thank you. Okay, thank you again, Mr. Committee Chair of Housing. Parks Department? Chair?
Good evening, everyone. I'll make this quick, as per Mr. Hall. On August 15th, Parks Committee attended District 12's budget meeting for parks. Here, we were able to make direct requests with the Borough Commissioner and her staff. The parks discussed for Community Board 12 were Bronx River Park, the renovation of the pathway, $2.2 million project. Its construction completion should be January 2018. Agnes Haywood Playground, the basketball courts, the stairs and ramp, $3.4 million project. The procurement completion should be June 2017. Edenwall Playground, renovations of the basketball courts and the swimming pool, $1.9 million project. The design completion should be June 2017. Bronx River Greenway, between 211th Street and 233rd Street. The pathway, $3.6 million project. The design completion should be October 2017, so that should be next month. and we've requested dual bike paths. Lastly, Wakefield Park, we were pleased to announce that we've received some funding, but we don't have an exact amount as of right now, and the procurement completion should be January 2018. A request was made by the Parks Department for the board to advocate for new tractors, vehicles. So basically to ensure the maintenance of the parks, that's been a really big concern for us, is the maintenance of our parks. You know, we're pleased and we're very happy to have all of this renovations and new things coming our way, but we also are concerned with the maintenance of it, and we want to be able to upkeep it, you know, to the best of our abilities. Welcome back, everybody. Good to see everybody, and looking forward to another prosperous year. Thank you.
Thank you.
Are you going to make a motion that we approve maintenance vehicles for the Parks Department?
I would like to. I would like to.
Okay, so we'll have to approve your report, and then we can make a motion to do that.
Okay, folks, so the vote is to,
Second, the report, all we need to do is take a vote.
all right, so the vote is to accept the report, and after we do that, we can also accept the fact that we're going to send a letter for approval? Separate, okay. All right, so we're going to have two votes. Two votes? We're going to have two votes. Is that correct, Carl? Okay.
One is to accept his report, and then we can vote on what he had in his report.
Okay, and we don't have to make a motion, so, okay. All right, Carmen? Well, we'll see. Oh, I'm sorry.
I could scream out. No, but this thing here, you know, makes me talk too loud. Make. Where you, point of question though, they want to know what they're going to vote on. They're accepting the report, the Parks report. Okay. Franklin Alapo, it's not here. Benitez Judith. Bennett Aguirre. Barry Hazel, not here. Bloomfield Hillary, not here. Boras Ivan Anthony, aye. Borsotti Carla. Brown Allen Marlene. Victor Brown. Deacon Edward Brown. Brian Norbert. Dr. Michael Burke. Campbell Sadie. Kristen Evelyn, excuse. Clark Gale. Joan Cott, not here. Coleman Benicia, excuse. Dickerson Torlin. Eastman Laura, not here. Evans Raymond, not here. Figueroa Alfredo? Aye. Gibson LaGrande Barbara? Goff Johnny's, not here. Green Chantel? Robert Hall? Aye. William Hall? Aye. Hayes Lisa? Aye. Horton April, not here. Isaac John, excuse, not here. James Theodore? Aye. Lanzano Clark? Aye. Martin Lucille, not here. McLeod Mary? Aye. McNeil Walter? Aye. Moore Angela, not here. Mike Clinton? Aye. Ortiz Carmen, aye. Porter Frank? Aye. Claudia Powell? Aye. Anthony Reed? Aye. Dr. Robbins is not here. Roldan Felix? Aye. Sulky May Thomas is not here. Stricker Carl? Aye. And Nicole Weir? Aye. And Norma Wells? Not here. I know, but I still have to call their names.
Okay, I believe the ayes do have it. In the interest of time, can we record everyone? All right, make the motion.
I make a motion that we approve Parks Committee's report to buy maintenance vehicles to maintain the parks in our community.
Second.
Okay, does everybody understand what they're voting on? Maintenance vehicles in our community as per Parks Department. All right, now, can we record everyone from the first vote?
Record everybody
All right, the ayes have it. Thank you.
Thank you, thank you, thank you.
And just to make mention, I know we're rolling tonight, but today, Borough Consultation, Parks Department was here. We had a very extensive meeting, and they're doing a really good job in our area, particularly, so, okay? Very good job. Just wanted to mention that. So, okay, all right. I spoke to Tom Lucchini earlier. He said he would submit his report. There's no rep tonight, but he would submit his written report. I'm also going to submit my written report so we can move ahead in terms of the borough president and my report. Okay, I see two hands, so I'm going to go to you first. Somebody, okay. And then I'll you second. Okay. Okay, we're okay there with the wire?
Don't hang on.
Okay. 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 That's the hardest part, the mics.
Okay, good evening. The Transportation Committee met on September 21st. We had one taxi cab base renewal, Newtown private car service located at 3455 Baychester Avenue in the Bronx. They're up for their taxi base renewal. Mr. Bennett, the owner-operator of Newtown, came and presented to the Transportation Committee. He stated that they were just recently passed inspection by the TLC. So, in trying to save time, the Transportation Committee recommends a renewal for Newtown car service.
Newtown.
Okay, we had 3 alternate side of the street parking applications, basically. Bullard Avenue between East 233rd Street and the city line. We had 3 homeowners from that area come out, and their reason for the request is the dumping on the streets, some prostitution and congregating, drinking, illegal parking of vehicles by persons, and auto repair shops. Some auto repair shops that are doubling as auto sales shops. So the Transportation Committee decided that we're going to recommend further review and additional homeowner support.
Okay.
Okay. Next alternate side of street parking was for Cranford Avenue between Wilder Avenue and Murdoch Avenue. No homeowners were represented at the committee meeting. However, they sent a petition with approximately 11 signatures of support from the homeowners in the area. And the committee recommended also that we table that vote as we need to hear a little more from the homeowners in that area as well. And the third one was alternate side parking between Webster Avenue and Gun Hill, on Webster Avenue between Gun Hill Road and East 233rd Street. The board received a letter of support from Councilmember Andrew Cohen's office recommending the alternate side parking for the area. It was found that the alternate side parking has already been assigned to this area and no need for a vote or further review. And today, right before the meeting, the Transportation Committee met with James Shannon of Kleinman Architects. He's a project manager on 3586 Boston Road between Tillotson Avenue and Gunther Avenue. The property was developed in 2007, and while being built during the construction of the property, the city put in new sidewalks and paved the street. But what it seems like they had, in their designs that they had for the building, when the city came in and repaved the sidewalk and the street, they made the sidewalk a couple of inches higher than the original plans for the building called for.
Okay.
So they now had to put in a ramp and a stoop on the side of the building for persons to be able to enter in and out of the building. They're applying for a revocable consent because the city wants them to change it, even though from what I saw, it looks okay, but they applied for revocable consent. If anyone doesn't know what revocable consent is, because I wasn't sure myself, it's a grant by the city to construct and maintain certain structures on or over on, over, or under the city property, usually on the sidewalk or on the street. Now, they're not trying to make any changes to the building whatsoever. The city wanted them to change the ramp for whatever reason to make it, I guess, up to city code, but the ramp is fine, and the only reason they had to install the ramp was because the city made the sidewalks higher than they originally were.
Okay.
So,
Okay. All right, Mr. First Vice Chair, we going to take the vote to accept the report now, but how?
First, I want to say something
No.
about the last one you were speaking about. The city went in there and rebuilt the street and the sidewalk. They did it to what the guidelines of the street level was. So when the level the DOT put it in, that's what the level shows on the blueprint.
Right.
All, whatever they have to work off, they have 5 different types of maps they use. So the level is correct. Unfortunately, he put his stuff in before they came in and repaired.
Uh-huh.
So, and he has to, I tell you, he can't be, run with his own ramp. He has to come up with city standards. So even if we vote to approve his ramp, it's not gonna fly because there's guidelines in the city for the protection of the city and the people who walk on the sidewalks and drive on the streets. So you could, if you want to do that, that's fine, but it's a losing cause because it's outside the guidelines. He's going to have to come in for a variance before that can happen.
well, he said they applied for it already.
Yeah,
Okay.
If he applies for a variance, we can take a look at it, and I feel like we should approve it because the guy, that's not.
Well, the committee voted to
But
approve
the
it.
point is, the way it is now, he has nothing on his favor.
Right.
All right, so Mr. First Vice Chair, we have to take one vote to approve the,
One vote to approve the Transportation Committee's.
and that's good enough. Okay, all right, folks, the vote is to accept and approve the Transportation Committee's report. Okay, Carmen? All right, anybody opposed? Can we record everybody as yay? Okay, all right, so we're going to report
Everybody in
in favor of the report? Aye. Okay, thank you.
I make a motion that we send a letter on behalf of the Transportation Committee on their requests. And is there any, I need a second. Second. Oh, I'm sorry. He hogs it. I can't get to it. No. I make a motion that we vote for what the Transportation Committee recommended, and send letters out regarding everything that you spoke about, even the sidewalk. But, we should send letters out to the proper agencies to have this corrected. So if everybody's in favor of that, I need a second first of all.
So move, Robert Hall.
So all in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Okay, unanimous. Thank you very much for your report.
You're welcome.
Thank you for your report, and just a comment that Public Safety Committee also met with Transportation, and they are in agreement. Am I correct, Chair of Public Safety? Okay, so we have that worked out. Okay? All right, we're moving right along here. We got a lot of work to do, but we're moving. So, ma'am?
Good evening, everyone. Okay, this report is from the Library and Cultural Affairs Committee, and I'm offering this report on behalf of the chairperson, Ms. Joan A. Claude. On Saturday, September 16, 2017, from 11 a.m. to 4 p.m., the Library and Cultural Affairs Committee held its first Health Awareness Day. Even though the venue was right here at Town Hall, the event had little or no success. The committee made the usual preparations, sending out flyers, invitations to agencies, emailing numerous reminders and follow-up, but somehow we failed. Healthcare representatives from Montefiore, Hospital and St. Barnabas were ready to provide free screenings and examinations, but the population we expected at this very important health and wellness fair did not show up. Ridgewood Savings Bank, EMT, Fire Department, New York Life Insurance, Wakefield Library, and 233rd Street Libraries were present. Each agency was prepared to give very important information in their area of expertise to the community residents, but sadly, there were no takers. It was surprising that members of the board did not see it fit to support this worthwhile effort. We are truly disappointed, and we look forward to your support in our next endeavor. It was a beautiful day, weather-wise, but being busy is no excuse. We are all busy folks, and we should support each when the occasion arises. Sincerely.
Okay, my response, please. Just give me a second to respond. I want to meet with you and Ms. Clark, Joan Clark, and obviously we're doing something wrong here. We're doing something wrong, and this is the second time that we had such a low turnout. So I'm going to either next week or the week after schedule a meeting with both of you, and we'll sit down and try to brainstorm what we're not doing right here, so we're not getting the participation of the community. All right? So please let her know that we will schedule a meeting. Okay? Okay. Any more committee reports? All right. Now we're going to go to Community Speaks. And again, it's not that we don't want to hear our community, but we're moving tonight because we have 3 committee reports here for land use. And again, I want to get you guys home before tomorrow night. Okay? So we'll continue without further ado. We'll now go to Committee Speaks. Okay, you need the mic. I got you.
Okay, ladies and gentlemen, Community Speaks. Tonight, since we're on a fast track, you're only going to have 2 minutes to speak, and I apologize for that, but we want to get home before midnight. So the first speaker is, let me put my glasses on. No. Alfonso Okendo from Bragg.
Thank you.
Sorry to keep you waiting.
It's okay. Thank you. Appreciate it. Good evening, community. First and foremost, I would like to say welcome back. I hope everyone had a great summer. My name is Alfonso Oquendo. I'm the program supervisor for Good Shepherd Services BRAG program. BRAG is an acronym for Bronx Rises Against Gun Violence. What we do is we aim to connect with high-risk youth between the ages of 16 to 24, get them off the streets, get them to put the guns down, get them to stop living a life of violence, give them different alternatives as far as getting them back into school, getting them jobs, getting them trainings, things of that nature. Any legal assistance that they may need free of charge, we offer that. Any mental health, substance abuse, any and everything that they may need help with in their life, we aim to kind of like aid them in that so they can leave the life of crime, the life of senseless acts of violence, and start living as productive young men in our society. So I won't take too much of your time because I know he said I only have 2 minutes. So I just wanted to tell you our office is located right here on 226 in Bronxwood. It's 4011 Bronxwood Avenue, right across the street from the laundromat and the car wash. It has all black tinted windows. If you know of any kids that could utilize our services, any kids that's on the wrong path, need a little bit of mentoring, a little bit of guidance, a little bit more options, maybe they're confused and not knowing how to obtain these options or how to obtain this information, please don't hesitate to send us to our office. Unfortunately, we just ended a streak of 602 days of no shootings within our catchment area. Is the area that we service, which is from 222nd to 227th between Barnes and Paulding. So we had 602 days as of Sunday. Unfortunately, there was 2 shootings last Sunday where a 23-year-old man got shot on 224th and on 224th between Barnes and Bronxwood, and there was another shooting on 227th between White Plains and Barnes. We gathered community members, business members, elected officials. We held what we call a shooting response. We did that today, where we rallied around the community. We spread messages of peace, messages of love, messages of prosperity, but most of all, messages of change. Let's change the way you think. Let's change the way that you view violence. Let's change the way you think that you have to act upon certain feelings in regards to violence. So please, if you know of any kids, don't hesitate to stop me or one of my workers. These are our uniforms. I'm pretty sure you guys have seen us around. If not, you will see us around, and don't hesitate to let us help you. Thank you.
Okay, thank you very much. The next speaker.
Hold on, they just wanted me to, say my number. We handed out flyers. The number's on the flyer, but if anybody doesn't have a flyer, my direct number is 347-282-8785. You can reach me directly, and I would help you with anything or any questions that you may have. Thank you.
Okay, thank you for a great job.
Thank you.
The next speaker is Glenda Henry.
Yes, hello. My name is Glendora Henry, and I'm here on behalf of the school crossing guards located on Baychester and Crawford Avenue. So I'm going to read a little bit just to make sure I say quickly and include everything I mean to say today. We have 7 schools on that strip. There's a large number of schools. There's elementary, middle schools, and high schools. There's 7 schools on that block. And what happens on that corner of Baychester and Crawford is people are coming in and making left turns. We've had numerous accidents and a lot of near misses, very close misses. So we've asked people not to make left turns during this time when the kids are coming in, say 7:30 to 9:30, and then at 2 to 3:30, we're asking to have a sign put up to have no left turns. For now, what the school crossing guards have been doing is putting up cones to block the people from coming through, to eliminate any issues with the children, because we have a large number of children coming through at that time, because there's a lot of traffic coming from all directions. So we're trying to eliminate having left turns. We're asking for a sign, no left turns, on the corner of Crawford and Baychester during the periods when it's heavy with school children.
I just want to tell you, I go through there every morning about 7:45, 8 o'clock. It's
Yes.
a disaster. And you should have the no left turn. You guys do a great job.
Thank you.
Because what happens, you have cars coming up in the left lane, and then they see the arrows for the left turn. They shoot across in front of you, who's driving in the correct lane, and then you have to fight the parents who are getting out of their cars with the kids double parked to cross them. You gotta watch you don't hit them. You guys are doing a fantastic job. I have to tell you that.
Thank you.
And we will look into your request.
Thank you.
In the interest of time, I'd appreciate if you held your questions, because we really got to move, because you guys are really going to be here late tonight, so, all right? Okay.
Okay, that's
Okay.
it?
Oh, okay, okay. All right, call.
Next speaker is Michael X. Hinton. Sorry, Mike.
I know it's been a little while since you said my name, so I forgive you for that.
I duly apologize for that.
It's all good, bro. It's all good. As you know, my name is Michael X. Hinton. I was sitting here just in a lot of feelings. I heard Carmen so many times tonight, and part of me was wishing that I saw Carmen Rosa. I don't know who's Carmen up here, but I kept hearing Carmen. I've been coming to the community board for almost 18 years now. And I have slacked off, and I see some of the board members from time to time, and they ask me, what's going on with you? Where you at? I still live in the neighborhood. I work with young people up in Children's Village. I work also down the block where the proposed community center is supposed to be. I don't know when it's supposed to be erected. But, I was just thinking about what should I say, and then I heard 2 minutes, so let me just run through it. There's a scripture in the New Testament, and it talks about where the dead bodies lie, the vultures will gather. And as I look around my community, I feel like my community represents that dead body. And I see a lot of vultures over the years that have come and gone and have taken pieces out of that dead body. Over the years, I've witnessed this community district dominated and/or underserved by different political and economic interests that more often than not appear to be more about themselves than the socio-economic and cultural/spiritual needs of the community. I've witnessed, and I gotta be frank, I've witnessed politicians do the bare minimum to remain elected. I've witnessed the landscape change and be dominated by racial, cultural outsiders a lot of times that come and they are interested in throwing up liquor stores in our neighborhoods as if we need more liquor in our neighborhood. I've seen more bodegas and delis on the same block that hire none of our people. I've witnessed the church population a lot of times be buzzing with activity on Sundays, but after that, there's no energy, no activity. I've been around the block. You know, I'm almost 50 years old. When I first came here, I was just getting into my 30s, and I had a lot of fire and I had a lot of zeal, and I still do. I know sometimes that you have to be politically correct and not just step on everybody's toes to be heard. So I made some of those mistakes in my youth, but now I'm wondering, where is the community spirit for us to come together across the generations to bring forth the technological will, the political will, the spiritual will, the cultural will that it's going to take to revive the spirit of our neighborhoods?
Mike.
Gentrification.
Time is running.
I got you. Gentrification is taking over our community like it's taken over every black and brown community. And I wonder what we're going to do about it. My email is brothermikex@gmail. BRUTHAMIKEX@gmail.com. If y'all are willing to fight, I'm willing to fight. If y'all are not, I'm going to continue to live my life and pick and choose my battles. But yo, something got to be done. Having said that, thank you for the extra couple of seconds.
Thank you, Michael. Okay, the next speaker, and I always screw up his last name, and I'm sorry, Frank. Frank Sotomayor. Did I get it right this time? Sorry, Frank.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. I've got three things that I want to touch on real quick. And one of them is the alternate side of the street parking between Bullard and between Bullard and 233rd and 242nd Street. The reason that we're asking for this alternate side of the parking is because there's a lot of dumping, and the sanitation department comes in and they clean the area, and then again it starts up again. But they have a hard time getting at their garbage and all that dumping because of the parked cars from those garages that are on Bullard between 239 and 240th Street. So we're asking for the alternate side of the street parking so that they can get the cars out of there, have the sanitation be able to get in there and clean the place up on a regular basis. And I would hope that the committee would vote to put this through, or to try and push it through. As a matter of fact, I sent an email to Cohen asking him for his support on this particular issue. And the next thing that I wanted to talk about was 555 Nerid Avenue. Now, my understanding of Nerid Avenue and 555 Nerid Avenue was that it was going to be affordable housing for seniors and veterans. Now, they have something coming up where there's a request for a waiver.
I have a public hearing on it tonight, by the way.
Okay, so I can talk about that then?
Yes, I would prefer that, yes.
Okay, fine. So then the other thing is that I want to bring up is 4747 Bronx Boulevard. They haven't stopped work on there since we last overturned what they wanted to put in there, which was an AIDS shelter. And that was with the help of the community board district manager, George Torres, and Cohen, and a lot of the other people. We managed to put that aside. Now they're still working on it, and the rumors are, and they're getting pretty strong, that they want to make that into a shelter still. And from 90 rooms that they were quoting then, now it's up to 122 rooms.
Mr. Sotomayor, I gotta cut you.
Okay.
I just want to say this, and I know you talk to George Torres a lot, so if you would just make sure he has that information, because he monitors on a weekly basis these
Okay,
issues. So
that's
just
fine.
have that relationship with George and give him that information.
Okay.
And I'm sure he's going to stay on top of it, okay?
Okay, thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, Frank, and I'll practice your name this month.
Just a real quick update on that. The issue that Frank was raising was that HRA wanted to make this a HACA facility. Now, just so that people understand, they pulled a permit to build a hotel. The city of New York, under the direction of Commissioner Stephen Banks and the mayor, said that they would no longer place people, homeless people, formerly homeless people, into cluster sites and into hotels. So again, they can continue as a hotel because this is a M11 district, meaning that it's a manufacturing district. This is where hotels are permissible. However, we've gotten assurances. You had meetings with HRA, you had meetings with DHS, with the help of the elected officials. This can never be, unless the city's lying to us, and I'm not saying that they haven't done that in the past, but this can never be a homeless shelter unless this community board rezoned it, took a vote and said, we're going to make this a residential area. So I know that we've had this conversation before, but the circumstances surrounding that property have not changed. We have not rezoned it as not residential. The only uses that are permitted are manufacturing uses, and in that kind of zoning area, a hotel is permissible. He had the permits. Again, if he wants to finish it and put a Best Western there, by all means, that is his. I doubt that that's what he wants to do, but he cannot go to the city because under this administration, they've made a commitment. As a matter of fact, I spoke earlier about budget consultations. We met today with DHS and HRA, and we asked them, what's on the horizon for future shelters, and they were non-committal, but we didn't have a conversation about this specific site, but they told us, they were like, look, we are not looking to put people into commercial hotels for housing, as a housing option. So that's it.
Okay, thank you, George. The next speaker is Sandra M. Proley.
Hello, my name is Sandra M. Prowley. Good evening. My biggest problem is sanitation. I put my garbage out and they don't pick it up. The other day I cleaned up my backyard. I had about maybe 20 bags. They refused to pick it up and it sat out there for like almost 2 weeks. I had to call 311 and then they took another week to pick the garbage up. So that's my biggest problem, and I don't know if this community board can do something about that.
What is your address, ma'am?
It's 1037 East 213th Street.
Okay, have you spoken to Ursula Green at all?
Not
Ursula Green
about
is
that.
when
No,
you get
I
a
did
chance,
not.
give her a call at our office.
Okay.
And give her that information, and we will follow up on that, all right?
1037 East
Okay.
213th? Yeah.
All right, ma'am? Thank you.
Okay, thank you.
I have one more issue. Hello? I didn't finish. Okay. The next issue is the police department. I have a driveway where people block my car in and I'm trying to get to work and I can't get to work. I don't know if y'all deal with that here, But, you know, when I call the police department, they say, do you know where this person lives? No, I don't. And they refuse to ticket the car, and it's just a real problem.
The law says they have to ticket the car.
They refuse.
Yeah, because they're in your drive. But I would recommend that you go to the 47 Precinct Council meeting,
I have done that.
and they have done nothing for you?
Nothing.
Mr. Vice President, do you know anything? Oh, okay.
All right. Okay. All right, guys, we need order here. Okay. Again, I'm going to ask you to call Ursula and sit down with Ursula, and then sit down with our district manager, and let's do this as a case on a case basis, so
Okay.
that we can pay attention to your situation and get you some response.
Thank you
Okay?
so much.
All right.
Okay.
All right. We need to move on. We need to move on. Okay.
Next speaker is Renee Patterson.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. It's been a long time. I have been coming in this building since 1985, so that dates myself. When Mr. Linton Cummings was the chairperson and when Sam B. was the district manager. I was a young person earning my degree in government and public administration. So to see the changes in this room, it is very enlightening. The first change that I'd like to thank you for was being able to watch this meeting on TV. Because now we don't have to sit here to 12 midnight. We can sit at 12 midnight in the comfort of our homes and watch this on TV. So thank you for whoever made that happen. It is a wonderful thing. The first thing I'd like to speak about is Seaton Falls Park. I am the president of the Seaton Falls Park Coalition. If you don't know where Seaton Falls Park is, it is located at East 233rd Street and Baychester Avenue. It is a 40-acre park. As I heard the crossing guard say, it is surrounded by 7 different schools in the neighborhood. We have had 5 events in Seaton Falls Park since April. We've had a spring cleanup. In April, we had 2 urban park ranger tours, one in May, and the other one we just had in September 24th. We also had fitness in the park for women this summer. We had 6 sessions of fitness in the park on Saturday mornings at 10 a.m. We also had the summer youth workers in the park this summer, where they filled out surveys for our park so that the Parks Department and the powers that be will understand that this is a woodland park and it needs to be maintained. It is not a jungle. And they need to come in there and maintain that park in a proper manner like you would maintain a Van Cortlandt or a Pelham Bay Park. We have 40 acres. That's a lot of greenage there. Also, one of the things I'd like to speak to you about Seaton Falls Park
I don't
is
really
that-
want to cut you off, Renee,
Yes.
but you had your 2 minutes. I'm sorry.
Oh, I'm so sorry. Okay,
No,
well.
I'm sorry because you have a very interesting report there. You know.
Okay, well, I thank you for the time, and I invite everybody to please join Seaton Falls Park. And where that is concerned, I want to say rest in peace, Christine Foreman, because I know she was a former board member of yours, and she was the former president of Seaton Falls Park.
Renee, I would ask you to keep in contact with Ivan, who's the chair of the Parks Committee.
Yes, we do.
Okay, great. Thank you. The next speaker is Andre Joseph.
Hello, good evening.
Good evening.
My name is Andre Joseph. I'm here from Department of Youth and Community Development. Just wanted to bring to everyone's attention, from the community board to the community, that DYCD has Youth Connect. And Youth Connect is a resource that's available to everyone within the city, similar to 311 if you have youth issues or concerns, or even just after-school program information. You need any information that falls with the youth and also immigration and education, please give us a call. We have flyers in the back showing you information about what we do. Our number, you can even call us through 311, and you can get information for us as well. Just wanted to bring that out there. After school's a big area at this point in time. Jobs and internships are opportunities that we have for in-school and out-of-school youth, up to 24. Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Just a comment. I spoke to you, sir, when you came in, and I would like to meet with you in a couple of weeks if we can work out a schedule for a meeting so we can sit down and talk a little more.
Definitely.
Okay?
Thank you.
The next speaker is Rose Williams.
Good evening, everyone. My name is Rose Williams. I'm a resident at 758 East 229th Street in the Bronx. My concern is, I would like to request the sanitation department to be here at the next meeting for October. My question is, why in the world all the residents of the Bronx were giving a third receptacle can to distribute, to deposit additional trash? It has been placed in at my home, I think the month of August, and not once have I seen that can being placed on the sidewalk for the residents to use. Why? We're spending all this, it's a beautiful can. In fact, I would like to use it indoors for my own use. But why is it outside and no one, they don't pick it up, no one uses it? Why did the city spend all that money to give every resident a receptacle can for trash? And in addition to that, you have to buy your plastic lining, spending more money in order to line the can, so then they can dispose it and throw it away. I just want somebody from the Department of Sanitation to be here next month to ask my question: why were we given these beautiful cans? And if I don't get an answer, I'm going to take it in my house and use it for my own personal use. Thank you so much.
Excuse me. I would recommend that you. I would ask you to speak to our chair, Carla Bergassi. She's chair of the environmental committee.
Who's that? Raise your hand. Okay, I'll see.
And she will try to help you out with your problem.
Okay, thank you.
You're welcome.
Am I the only one? Okay, thank you.
The next speaker is Carlton Berkeley.
Oh yeah, Colin's coming. Brian's going to speak to the constituent. The brown cans that she's referring to are the, what do you call that? The fruit scraps? Yeah, the composting. Everybody is fully aware of what it is. You put it out with your recycling. We will ask DSNY to come, but my understanding is that they've been making a very real concerted effort. I've seen them at the Wakefield Taxpayers meeting. I've seen them at the East 222nd Community Block Association meeting. We participate, Community Board 12 participates. Our brown can is right outside. This is all an effort that the City Council voted for 2030 zero waste. As a city, the city is aiming to have everything reused somehow, so that we go basically zero waste by the year 2030.
Okay, George, Brian's going to speak with her?
He's speaking to her.
Okay, I just want to get our next speaker here.
That's all right.
Okay, how you doing?
Good evening, everyone. My question had already been answered. I'm with Frank Sotomayor about 555. You said that that's going to be brought up later on, and also about 47, because we are remaining vigilant on that. I'm a retired New York City detective, and I don't trust the city. So when I'm asking you guys to be as vigilant as we are, because we fought like hell, and we don't want another shelter in our district. So I'm asking you, please do not change the zoning for Mr. Banks.
Can we bring this up at the hearing?
Excuse me?
I would like you to bring that up at the hearing, please.
Is that going to be
Tonight, yes.
Okay, all right, no problem.
Thank you very much. The next speaker is Pamela Johnson. And then you got one more.
All right, guys, the background noise is recorded on our tape recorder. It's very difficult to do the minutes when we have background noise, so please, let's pay attention to our speakers.
Good evening, everyone. My name is Pamela Johnson, and good evening. I just wanted to say thank you to those who are on this board who voted against the rezoning of the Baychester Mall. It was defeated, and rightfully so. There were many buses that came out from Co-op City and the residents in this community because it would have been a traffic nightmare. It would have been an asthma nightmare. It would have been a congestion nightmare. But I also say to those who voted for it, you have another opportunity. Because even though that RFP has been defeated, it was around for 5 years, which I did not know. And at that point in time, I think I was on the board, and we could have had our input into what we wanted. But now that it has been defeated, I'm asking that you take a look at it, and whoever gets that RFP, because the mayor has put it out in the newspaper that there will be another one, please take the time to figure it out, along with your other brothers and sisters from Co-op City and in the community, to figure out exactly what we need. So what we build is what we need in the community. My last thing is that, of course, you know I'm called the Scholarship Lady. There's going to be a scholarship workshop on October 21st at the Eastchester Heights Community Center at 1 o'clock. The address is 3480 Seymour Avenue in the Bronx, New York. As you know, the best way out of poverty is a good education. If you cannot make that, there's another workshop at Dreiser at the College Fair on the 7th. At around 2 o'clock. Please avail yourself to it. We want our young people to have scholarships to go to college and to stay in college. Thank you very much. And thank you for your support as well.
Okay.
It's in Co-op City.
The next speaker is Brian Melford from Andy King's office.
Hello. Good evening, everyone. I'm Brian Melford here on behalf of Councilmember King. And the council member is not the one that is only working when it's election time, just to get that straight, put it on the air. He thanks you and everyone that voted, whether you voted for him or voted for him not, he thanks you for participating, because people pay attention to people who participate. And the only reason why the council member is not here this evening is because he's on live television announcing our efforts to raise donations, blankets, aspirin, first aid supplies for some of the forgotten islands of the various hurricanes that have hit the Caribbean. St. Thomas, U.S. territory, 3 islands, St. Thomas, St. John, and St. Croix, they need help. Puerto Rico is noticeably larger in size, but St. Thomas is still a part of the United States, and council member and the ambassador of the island of Dominica, another island that sadly doesn't belong to the United States, but still a number of Dominican residents live here, he is doing everything he can to draw attention to those smaller islands that need. Puerto Rico is going to be well taken care of. They have congressional representatives, senators, assembly members. The Virgin Islands doesn't have any major representatives that can advocate for them on the mainland. So council member and his colleagues locally in the North Bronx are doing what they can to draw attention, awareness to these islands. And we have a relief going on until Saturday, where we'll be accepting contributions at 4 various locations. Our district office, 940 East Gun Hill Road, at Crawford Church, 3757 White Plains Road, which is 217 in White Plains Road, 218 in White Plains Road, Dreiser Loop, 177 Co-op City, and we have the 47th Precinct as one of our 4 locations to bring donated goods. We thank you. We hope everyone had a safe summer, and a brief moment of silence for Mickle Avenue Block Association President J.W. Smith, who passed during this summer.
Okay. All right.
And I have enough flyers for about 50 folks, so get it while the getting's hot.
Thank you, Brian. Thank you. Okay, folks, just want to bring it to your attention. It is now 9 o'clock, and we have three BSA reviews that we have to vote on. Now, we need the board members to stay. So we're going to try to do this as quickly as possible, as efficiently as possible, but we need you to stay. I'm going to turn it over to the first vice chair.
Ladies and gentlemen, we have 3 hearings. The first 2 should fly by. The third one is the Army Reserve Center. That may take a little longer, but we need everybody here so we can take a vote on it. If we can't take a vote on it, you have no say on what happens. I want to make that perfectly clear. You're going to have to vote on it tonight, and if we don't have enough members for a quorum, It's on you, because they don't have to listen to what we have to say, because there wasn't a quorum. Yeah, quorum. Okay, the first hearing we're going to have is BSA calendar 49072B2, 4200 Baychester Avenue. This location originally was a Chase Bank. It lasted about 3 or 4 years. It folded.
I'm sorry, Carl. There are elected officials here. I thought we were going to run through regular order so that we can get the folks out of here, and then that want to leave, and those that want to stay for these presentations, which take a long time. Can we get that done, please?
Whatever.
Our elected officials that want to speak, can they line up? It's only a handful of people. Maxine, thank you.
All right, please step to the mic and,
Okay, real quick, my name is Maxine Sullivan. I represent Congressman Elliot Engel's office. I just want you to know that the summer's over and that the office is still open, we're still working. I have dates here for you to know that we're here in this Community Board 12, and the next step be here tomorrow, and for October, it'll be October the 6th and the 27th, and then November the 10th, the 17th, and December the 8th and the 22nd. And I do want you to know that today was the first day I received a hurricane victim. And no, she's not from a country where, like America, she's from St. Martin's. So I have 5 families coming in tomorrow to this office, so they need help. And they are not part of the FEMA. Okay, so if anybody who needs help for anything, for immigration, Social Security, anything that I can do for you on behalf of Congressman Elliot Engel, please give me a call, 718-320-2314. Thank you.
Maxine, I will call you tomorrow.
Yes, thank you.
Okay. All right, next, please introduce yourself.
Hi, everyone. Good evening. Thank you. My name is Mariette de la Cruz. I am the Bronx Borough Director for the New York City Comptroller. I'm sorry I'm really late. I had 2 meetings before this. I want to announce 2 things to keep it brief. We are having an Italian community breakfast not too far from here. It's on 1 Center Street. So it's at 8:30 on 1 Center Street. I know, don't look at me like that. I know it's really far from here, but if folks want to have an opportunity to meet the controller, that would be a great opportunity to do so. So that's, again, October 17th, 8:30 in the morning at 1 Center Street, and you will have the privilege of seeing me there, so why wouldn't you go? And another thing that I think this community would think is important is that the New York City Comptroller divested city pension funds from private prisons. The reason for that is that their private prisons have far higher rates of security, safety incidences. They put not violent inmates in solitary confinement, and there's a lack of appropriate medical care. So from an investment standpoint, it's not only risky, but from a humane standpoint, those institutions are morally corrupt. So the New York City pension funds were the first in the country to fully divest from private prisons, and we sold all $48 million that was invested in those companies. So private companies that support mass incarceration are not okay, and they literally profit off of human suffering. So the last thing I wanted to say is, again, my name is Marielle de la Cruz from the New York City Comptroller's office. If you would like the Comptroller or I to attend an event, that means I would have to know who you are. You would have to give me your contact information. People ask me for my card and never call me, and I would love to hear a little bit more from this community. Thank you very much and have a beautiful night.
All right, is there any other elected official that wants to speak? Because we're after 9 o'clock now, and we need you, we need to go through these BSAs. So I'm going to turn it back over to the first vice chair. Can I do that? Anybody else want to speak? All right, I'm going to turn it over to the first vice chair, and we're going to try to go through these hearings. Please be, listen up, and we need the community board members to remain, so please don't leave.
Okay, let's try this one more time. The first hearing is 4200 Baychester Avenue. At one time, it was a Chase Manhattan Bank. The bank chose to leave the building. It was built to their specifications. Then a realtor went in there. It was a real estate office for a few years, and then it closed. And it's been vacant for quite a few years now. And the person who owns the the building was trying to get another bank to come into the community. Unfortunately, he was unable to entice any bank to come. Can I have quiet, please? Was unable to entice any other bank to take the building. So he's asking for a variance to the use of the building inside from bank use to retail. He's looking to put a retail establishment in there, probably a food store. I can't speak for the gentleman, but I can't speak for the gentleman, but he hasn't, been able to get any tenants for his property, and so he went the retail route. So we have a couple of speakers here on it. I don't know, is the owner here?
Yes, Mr. Iran Gohari is here.
Can he speak on exactly what he wants to do, please?
Okay, I'm his representative, and I'd like to address whatever questions and make a presentation.
Well, I would prefer, can you what? No, there's all.
The owner is here, Mr. Gohari.
Okay, first, I mean, all we wanted to know is what his plans are, what he wants to put in there, so we can make a credible decision whether we want him to get the variance or not. First of all, the variance for the building expired in 2008, which is like 9 years ago. But we're willing to listen to what he has to say, or you have to say since you're his representative, so we know what's happening in that building.
Right, so the variance did expire in 2008, but it's been in continuous use since 1973. Up until 2004, it was occupied by Chase Bank. After that, it was occupied by a mortgage company and attorney up until that was up until February of 2015, and then Mr. Gohari purchased the building, and he tried to obtain a lease from a bank, but he was unsuccessful. He looked for other tenants, and he was able to have a commitment from a prospective tenant for a use group 6, which is the same use group as a bank. It's a commercial use for a grocery store, and that's the proposed use. There's 5 parking spaces on the site, and this would be a food store, grocery store, which is a local service establishment to serve the community and the residents, and that's what he's proposing to put there.
Okay, does he have anything to say for himself?
Sure. You want to say something?
I don't know what to say so much, but most likely Sandy just explained everything, the whole situation. We purchased the property. We didn't really know that it was expired, the CO, with whatever situation was. We tried to take it over, and we got into this situation.
Can we please have quiet? If you can't be quiet, please take it outside.
And we got into this situation that the building is built like a commercial building, and it used to be a commercial zoning, which the old owner never did anything. It was an office, and then we took it from there, and we're trying to put a new tenant in, just to keep it as a commercial, which there is a big right ad on the same block. It's the whole frontage on Baychester. There is another right ad with a parking next to it, so it's not really into middle of a block with many houses that we're gonna disturb the community or anything. It's on a busy street. The entrance to the property is from Baychester. There's no many, actually there's zero housing over here. And the building is vacant for so much, and I hope the community will agree to go ahead to keep the building occupied. And a food place will be hopefully good for the community.
Can I ask you, is this going to be 24 hours?
No.
No, good. Yeah, go ahead, Bill.
All right, I just want to make sure all the board members have a map, understand the location, and know what we're talking about. So all the board members know where location? All right, just give us the street, the exact street location, cross street.
Yes, it's Baychester Avenue and Bushing Avenue.
Busing.
Bussing, I'm sorry. Bussing Avenue and Baychester Avenue. The lot is partially in an R4 zoning district and partially in the C12 zoning district. The whole block front of Baychester Avenue for 300 feet is in a C12 commercial overlay. So this site is actually partially in the C12 zone, but it's all, most of it is in the R4.
R4, yeah.
Yes,
That's the busing area side, by the way.
correct. But there is parking on the site for 5 spaces. We feel this use is appropriate. The board felt it was appropriate for, the Board of Standards and Appeals felt it was appropriate for a commercial use. That's why they granted the original variance in 1973. And they put certain conditions in place to safeguard the residents and in the immediate area and in the community. Mr. Gohari is also going to be adding landscaping, which we show on our site plan, to upgrade the site and beautify it.
In 1973, when we approved the bank's occupation of that building, they were supposed to place trees on Baychester Avenue. I want to see that happen if we approve his store.
There are trees, if you look at the
They're on
photographs.
Bussing, they're not on Baychester.
So,
I don't have your map, so I,
right, we'll add a tree on Baychester, or trees, whatever you're...
well, okay. No, I understand, they're laughing, but there is some restrictions on where you can put trees. And that's, can we have quiet?
Folks, we need order. We need order. Okay? We need order, and we need to move through this. So please, let's have one meeting. Let's have one meeting.
Okay, we do have a landscaping plan, which you should have in your package, but I can
I'll go through the...
forward it to you. And we will add street trees, whatever is permitted by the Parks Department. And we do have a landscaping plan as well.
Okay, what I would ask you also, okay, because where you're putting the store is a heavily trafficked street, Baychester Avenue. In fact, it's so heavily traveled, DOT is going to make some extensive street travel changes to that strip from 233rd Street all the way to 241st and Carpenter. So I want to make you aware of it. What I would like you guys to do is ask DOT to give you a loading zone on Baychester during the morning hours so you can take your trucks, because we can't afford to have double parked vehicles on Baychester area. It's bad enough with all the schools we have around there to have double parked vehicles, which makes it highly dangerous, number one, for the children to cross the intersections. It's like, it's like going through a war zone there. I go through there every morning. And if you don't get yourself killed, you're fortunate. So I would ask that you apply to DOT once, if we approve it, that you have a no standing loading zone from like, say, 9 to 5 or 9 to 4, something like that. I don't want to see delivery trucks in there earlier because you'll shut down the street. It's also a major bus route, carries tons of school kids, and it's also a truck route. Unitex, which is a big company with uniforms and linens for hospitals and other issues, use that as a street to get to McQuestion Parkway in Mount Vernon. So I just want to tell you, the traffic volume there is extensive. And I need you to work with us if we approve your...
Absolutely. We will refer this to DOT about the loading zone, and we can restrict the delivery times. And you can make your recommendations, of course, and we'll work with you on that.
Okay, thank you.
The owner will.
I have a speaker. Sorry. Okay, doctor?
Thank you, Mr. Stricker. There are a couple of things that you guys said that, quite frankly, bother me. And so I'm going to address the last question that I took a note of, that when the proposed owner came up. So you made a statement that you said that you think that a food place will be good for the community. What evidence do you have that would suggest as such? Did you take any solds? Did you do any marketing research? How do you know that? I'm speaking directly to the owner, because the owner was the one who made the statement. I'm gonna get back to you later, but the owner was the one who made that statement. So how can you sit here and say that? What evidence do you have?
No advanced research was done if the community will like to have a food or not.
What advanced research did you do?
I didn't do any search. If you ask me,
Would you have the data? Because you didn't present that in your package. Where's the data?
data of what?
You said that you did advanced research. My question to you is, where is the research?
I said that I think that the community will like. That's
You
it.
say you did not?
Yeah.
You say you did? Okay, so if you didn't do the research, then you can't make that statement that the community, that the food place would be good for the community, because you don't know.
Okay, so maybe you're right, and if this is the case, so I won't say that statement, that I think.
You think, but
so
you
I'm
don't
guessing,
know. Okay.
so you know,
Okay.
I'll change
Okay,
my...
let me ask question number two. Question number two is that you said that you didn't know about the variance, so you didn't know when you purchased a property. So why would you purchase property when you really didn't know what its use was for? I mean, so in other words, did you do your due diligence before you
No.
purchased property? No?
No.
Okay, all right. Question three, and the last question is, what methods or methodologies did you use to try to get commercial, when I say commercial tenants, I'm talking about financial tenants, because there are a lot of financial industries that are out here. So what avenues or methodologies did you pursue to make certain that you got one of those type of tenants to be in your building?
Again, I didn't understand the question. Which customer came in to rent the place, or what?
My question to you is the following. So you're saying that you could not get any banks or any financial institutions?
Yes, I did approach many real estate offices to speak with the banks, and nobody get the offer.
So
I will be happy if you can help me or someone else to get
well,
the
I
bank.
mean, but that's
I have no problem with that. I'm open-minded. You know, it's not that I'm here for.
Okay. I have to restrict. We respect your questions. Ms. Gibson, and give her a microphone, please.
Barbara?
Yes. Is it on? What I want to know, what is the size, and are you going to have food as well as meat in that facility? What really do you have in mind, although you're saying you're going to have a food store?
Okay, it's a grocery store, not a restaurant, not a food store. It's a grocery store.
When you say grocery store, you're talking about
Groceries.
poultry and groceries? Pardon me?
Maybe a deli counter, but not
Well, maybe you'll need...
grocery store.
Okay, if you could really come back later and explain that to me.
Okay, folks,
Because,
let me
And then the
stop.
next thing I'd like to know,
Ms. Gibson, I just want to stop you for a moment. Folks in the audience, we need you to be quiet. Board members need to be quiet, or we'll never get through this night.
okay,
Now,
there's a
all right?
Rite Aid facility on that avenue, right?
Yes.
And how far away are you from the school? You're on Bussin, so it's the next block down, if I can recall? Yes?
A block away, at least.
Okay. And then the next supermarket is on Baychester and, Baychester and 233rd. Yes? Baychester and 233rd?
Yeah, that's in that little shopping center.
Okay. So have you considered your neighbors or the neighbors before you decide to put this supermarket there?
It's not a supermarket.
It's not a supermarket. It's a grocery store. It's a 3,000 square foot store on grade. There's no basement. There's no cellar in this building. It's a one-story building. It's a small, it's a grocery store. It's not a supermarket.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay, thank you very much. Now, I have one speaker on this. Carlos, Carlos Field?
Hello, good night, everybody. My name is Carlos Field. I reside on 3939 Hill Avenue. I'm part of the community. I see it as any businesses that open within the community is good because at least it's going to provide a certain, jobs to somebody. People always looking at the bad. Oh, they need this, they need that. Any business that opens within a community, no matter what it is for, or who's the owner, who's not the owner, what races are going to be working in it, it shouldn't matter. What should matter is the ability that they're trying to get something for people to actually work. That's what the community has to look into. It shouldn't matter who it is or who is not.
We have quiet.
We're here to, there are people looking, for ways. There's a building there that's been, and everybody knows that corner on that building been about 5 or 6 years vacant. Is it a lot? I mean, somebody has to maintain it. They has to pay to maintain the area. Why not, give them a chance and, see what goes from there? What's the worst that could happen? It's a building that's standing there doing nothing. That's all I got to say.
Okay, that's it. Okay, he has to say.
Okay, folks, again, I have to express, we have to listen to the potential owner and community members that want to speak. Now, I think we have one more, and again, it's 9:15 now, folks, so we need to go home. So, all right, and that's going to be it.
Hello, can you hear me?
Yes.
All right, I just want my fellow board members to understand, you guys are not trying to apply for a new variance, you just want to extend the existing variance that exists there, correct?
That's correct.
All right,
It's
all
an
right,
extension
all right,
of term
hold on,
and
hold
an
on,
amendment.
Hold on.
Yes.
It's an existing use group 6, y'all want to maintain a use group 6, you just want to change the occupancy from a bank to retail, basically. So it's not that y'all want to get a new variance for the space always had a variance, you just want to extend it. So just be mindful, guys, they want to extend what was existing there. It's not that they want to get something new and put there. There's an existing variance that was granted by BSA. Whoever bought it, they have to extend it for another 10 years. Now, whatever improvements you're going to make, it has to be brought to the community, make sure that everyone is okay with what you want to do. The trees, I guess, one every 25 feet you got to put a tree? You put 10 trees if you want, or 30 trees. I know the property very well. I live in the neighborhood. It's been empty for a long time. It's an eyesore. I mean, if y'all could get a bank, by all means. If not, if y'all could get a tenant that's going to do something positive to the community and maybe bring them here to see what is exactly they want to do. I know you want to try to provide a use group 6 store and a C of O to say it's retail store, which is more marketable than a bank. Maybe bring in a tenant, a prospective tenant, and see how they want to operate the space. But it's an extension to an existing BSA case, not that they're asking to get a new one. Just understand that. Thanks.
So question real quick. What happens?
All right, so that we have some structure here and we can move, here's what I want all of you to think about. What happens if you vote yay? What happens if you vote nay? What will the difference be? And I think we're at a point now where we need to figure out, do we want this or do we not want this? So my question is, okay, if we vote nay, what will happen? What will occur? What will be there? Will it be an empty area? And in other words, the variance will either be extended or not extended. If it's not extended, then what will we have? And I think we should be at this point now before we vote. You had a question, and you give him the microphone, please.
Okay. In reference to what the last young man said, business will be good for the community. That's not true. I've seen it on White Plains Road. I've seen it on Gun Hill Road, how the place has deteriorated. Certain business, there's a lot of, let's say, unwanted customers hang around, sitting on the streets, sleeping on the sidewalk. It harbors a lot of undesirable people. So our business is not good, like the young man said. So I'll disagree with that. Thank you.
Okay. All right, I think we have to move it. Move the question. We have a question.
So I believe many of us are just looking for clarification. So what exactly does that entail if we do not extend the variance? What does that look like?
It means it'll remain vacant.
So if it remains, okay, so if we do not extend the variance and it remains vacant, does that still allow him or the owner to find another place of business to go in?
The longer it remains vacant, the more of an eyesore it becomes. It's been vacant for many years. And personally, I don't think a grocery store is a big problem going in there. I mean, either we want an eyesore or we want a viable business. And this community needs viable businesses.
But is that because he can't find a business other than a grocery store to go in there? Because now it becomes a matter of, is there going to be a grocery store, or potentially does he have to go and find somebody else to fill this space? Then what we end up doing inevitably is the accountability falls back on him, and that becomes his responsibility to find another place of business.
He's been trying for over 2 years to get something in there. The only thing he can do is he found a grocery store who is committed to going in there. He has the tenant. And, Rite Aid, which is down the other end of the block, sells food, but they don't sell everything a grocery store will sell. It's up to, I only have one person from the community that came out to speak on this today, and everybody was notified, and that person spoke in favor of it. But it's up to this board to vote on it, yes or no. Do you want an eyesore, or do you want a viable business? And and if we don't extend the variance, well, so be it. But if we do, we have something to look forward to. Okay, so I'm going to close the hearing on BSA calendar number 49072BZ. The meeting is now officially closed. What I'm going to do now is, as the chair of the land use, I'm going to make a recommendation. You can second it or you can vote it down. I recommend that we grant the owner of this property an extension on the variance. And second it? Okay, it's been seconded. Now, Madam Secretary, can you call the roll? Because this will mean if we approve it, it's going down in a letter, because we don't have to have 2 votes on this, because the whole board is involved in this.
So let me get it clear so everybody understands. A yea is we're going to extend that variance. A nay is we are not going to extend that variance. So it's very clear. Okay, you have your vote. You're here, we debated, we listened, we talked. It's a yea or a nay. All right, Carmen.
Franklin Alaco. Benitez Judith.
Bennett Aguirre. Barry Hazel. Not here. Bloomfield, not here. Boris Ivan. Persotti Carla. Marlene Allen Brown. Abstain. Victor Brown. Deacon Edward Brown. Norbert Bryan. Dr. Burke Michael. Campbell Sadie. Kristen Evelyn's not here. Clark Gale. Joan Clark, not here. Coleman Benicia, not here. Dickerson, Darlene. Eastman Lauda, not here. Eastman Lauda? Nay. You wasn't here before though, right? Okay, no, because that, yeah, all right. She says nay, right? Emmons is not here. Evans is not here. Figueroa Alfredo? Gibson Barbara? Johnny Goff not here. Green Chantel? Robert Hall?
Aye.
William Hall? Lisa Hayes? Horton April not here. Isaac is out. James Theodore? Lanzano Carl? Martin Lucille? Not here. Mary McLeod? McNeil? Moore's not here. Mike Clinton? Ortiz Carmen? Aye. Porter Frank? Powell Claudia? Reed Anthony? Dr. Robbins is not here. Felix Roldan? Selkie Fain not here. Carl Stricker? Nicole Weir? Abstain. And Wiles is not here. Okay, so now we gotta count. Yes.
All right, I'm hearing that the ayes have it, but we're going to give you a specific number so that we will have a specific count. So how many ayes, Carmen?
Your variance has been approved.
But wait a minute. I want the board to have specific numbers first. I want them to have the specific numbers. Okay. All right. We have 19 ayes, 8 nays. Okay, we have 8 abstains, 8 noes, and 19 ayes. So it's 19 to 16, yay.
Thank you very much.
All right. And we want you to continue to work with the board and come back and you know, have
Absolutely.
the relationship and be a good neighbor.
We welcome your recommendations. We will reach out to DOT about the loading zone, the traffic concerns. We have a landscaping plan, street tree plantings, which we'll submit to you for your review.
Okay. Okay.
Okay.
Okay. All right.
We understand your concerns. Thank you very much.
All right, folks, I want to get you guys home. It's 9:35. We have 2 more. So let's go through it. Okay.
The next application is BSA Calendar 189-03B2, 836 East 233rd Street. That's at the corner of Bussing Avenue. Since Bussing Avenue is very popular tonight. Right now, it's a Shell gas station with an automotive repair. I went out to check the location to see how it looked. Actually, it looks a little scrungy as it is, but that's a gas station. You don't expect it to be pristine. I spoke to the guy that was running the gas station, and I asked him, I asked him, can I speak to him? And I said to him, what plans do you have for the convenience store? They want to convert the automobile bays where they change the oil and fix the cars into a convenience store. And I asked him, what plans does he have for the convenience store? He didn't even know they were going to, the owner put a variance in for it. So I have no idea. He was shocked. He called the owner. I spoke to the owner. I asked him to come out to the meeting tonight. Are you here, sir?
You need more? Hold on, I have like 10 sets in my bag. Just give me a second.
Is anybody here from the gas station?
Yeah, I'm here. I'm representing asking for
Okay, the question was, is the owner here? That's what we...
The owner is not here.
The owner is not here? No. Okay, and sir, would you identify yourself and who you are?
Hi, good evening, everyone. My name is Michael Nakmias. I'm the attorney for the owner, and our office filed for the amendment to the existing special permit, which currently has a 10-year term that's active. It expires in 2023. This specific request, which is to convert the 3 repair bays to a convenience store, was actually made in 2005 before this board, and this board approved that request. Subsequently, the owner decided not to pursue that conversion, and that was made clear to the Board of Standards and Appeals and to the Community Board in 2013 when we came back to extend the term. But now the owner wants to put the convenience store instead of the repair bays, so we're making that request to your board. The other thing that we're requesting in this action is we don't have a certificate of occupancy. We were supposed to get that back in late 2013 when we got the 10-year term approval. But now that we want to have the convenience store, and we knew that back within the last year, basically while we were preparing this application and getting it filed, we decided to hold off on getting the C of O renewed. We've had C of Os in the past until we made this application.
I want to ask you, what is the hours of the convenience store going to be if it's granted?
So it's likely proposed to be 24 hours, but if your board has any concern about the hours of operation, the gas is 24 hours. You know, we can put a restriction in some capacity if your board feels that's necessary.
Are you going to sell beer?
I don't know if they're going to sell beer.
Because
they'd have to get a liquor license, which would go before your board.
And because most times when a convenience store opens, it's just another location to sell beer. And you have a lot of youth in the area, and I'm a little concerned about them getting their hands on a six-pack when not old enough to drink.
I understand, but if you look at the plans, and it really mirrors a lot of other gas stations that have convenience stores.
Oh,
I mean,
yeah,
this
I know
is a 1,630 square foot building we're talking about. It's a large convenience store area. You know, I don't know any of the stations nearby. I know them near where I live in Brooklyn, where they're just large and they have a lot of counters and a lot of open space. You know, just imagine 3 service bays being made available with refrigerators and different aisles. If they did serve any alcohol, again, it would come before the SLA. They'd need a liquor license to serve probably just beer.
Approval, so.
And that's within your purview. You know, if you said no beer, you know, that's something down the line that you could, you know, you would decide.
Like I said, I was out there, I took a look at the place. I don't know if he's going to retain the employment of the people who are working there now. One of my concerns is what's going to happen to the people who are working as mechanics and you know, other parts of the location. Right now, we have like a small convenience store in there where you sell cigarettes and stuff like that. But I want to know what's going to happen to those employees. Are he going to retain them?
Well, you know, My family's in the gas station business, just as a sidebar. And they've had, other operators come in and they close repair shops and they open these convenience stores. And, it's a mixed bag. You lose the people that work in the repair shops, those mechanics, they have to find another place. Now, the good thing about this owner, and I know this, is that this particular owner owns a lot of stations in the 5 boroughs. So it's very possible that these mechanics might find another home, to continue working. But really, you're talking about displacing mechanics, and, I don't know the shops in this area. Maybe they can find another place. But, that is a concern, but it'll also open up, new jobs to run the convenience store.
Okay. What I want to tell you, the owner did not impress me when his employee called him to talk to me. When I asked him how he planned to lay it out and everything else, he was very non-committal. So I asked him to come here tonight and make the presentation. I know you're the legal representative for him, and he sent you. But I would have liked to see him personally. But the one thing I have to say, all the people that were notified around the existing location of your gas station, busing in 233rd Street, nobody chose to come to speak on it tonight. So which means they have no interest, basically, on what's going to happen at the gas station.
Did you say you wanted to know what the layout of the convenience store was?
Well, no, I wanted to see exactly what he planned on doing. I asked him.
It's in the plans.
I understand it's in the plans, but I wanted to hear it from his mouth.
Oh, well, the plans are...
See, I have concerns when an owner of a property fails to come to the board to tell us what he wants. I want to see him face to face. The person before you, who got a lot of heat from the board because the vote was close, he came out and told us what he was planning to do with that building. We like to see the owner. So he comes from, I don't know where he is, out in the Hamptons or up in, and so forth. But the point is, I believe he disrespected this board because he refused to come out to talk to us and the community.
All right, I understand, and I'll definitely express the
Folks,
disrespect that the board feels.
To listen. We need to listen.
Just a difference between the last proposal and this one is that the layout, the exact layout, every room where everything goes in this gas station, it's not up to the owner to change it after the fact. It gets approved by the board, and if a refrigerator is in the wrong place, it's in violation of the approval.
Concerns I wanted to address with him. Since he's not here and I can't address him, there's no way I'm going to recommend to the land use committee or the school board that we approve this.
All right, folks. Again, we have to conduct our business. We have to have order. Okay, we have to have order. We have to have order.
Any board members have
any questions? Board members? All right, I have a question though. Now, I'm just trying to remember what you said. You gave the date 2013, and then there was 205 approval. There was a period of time where he didn't make a decision. Now, was that an extensive, can you go over those dates again?
So in 2005, there was a request to convert the repair base to a convenience store. And this board approved that request. But the owner decided not to go through with it.
Yeah, and that's the point I'm trying to make here now. So for how many years did he just let this go dormant? That's my question.
Well, so the option was on the table in 2005. I'm pretty sure it had something related to the economic situation between 2005, because between 2005 and 2013 was when the next extension of term took place, but
That's my point, and that's my question. So he went from 2005 to 2013. I just want to zero in on that. Is that what happened? Without making a decision. Is that what happened?
Basically, when we came back in 2013, we expressed that we didn't
All
want
right,
to
so,
do
okay,
the
so,
C-store.
so the answer to my question is yes, from 2005 to 2013. I'm just trying to get
Those
that
are the
straight.
dates, yes.
Okay.
Thank you. Any other questions? Yes, Barbara.
Sir, you emphasized that possibly it's not going to be open until 12 o'clock?
The plan is
It's
for-
not going to be 24 hours?
The plan is 24 hours, but I said that if the board feels that 24 hours is inappropriate and you want to put a condition on it, that's completely within your control.
Yeah, but the majority of those gas stations and the one that you're going to improve on, they open 24 hours.
The gas station is open 24 hours.
I'm talking about your convenience store that you're thinking about joining
Yeah.
on to the gas station. It's 24 hours.
Yes.
Thank you.
Okay, any further questions? Yes,
Still one question unanswered. Why didn't the owner come here? Why didn't he come?
I don't know the answer. I don't know why the owner didn't come.
okay. Any other questions? Okay, being none, I'm closing the hearing on BSA calendar number 18903BZ. The hearing is officially closed. And being the chair of the land use, I make a recommendation that we don't approve it. All right, so it's moved and seconded.
Yes.
Madam Secretary, please call the roll.
Now let's just get it clear. A yay is that we do not approve. A nay is that we do approve, just so we get it clear. Okay? A yay is that we do, yes is that we do not approve. A nay is that we do approve, just so we're all straight. Okay.
Hey, give her the mic.
Yes means no.
Franklin is not here. Franklin Alapo is not here. Judith Benitez. Bennett Iguria. Hazelberry, not here. Bluefield Hillary is not here. Boras Anthony Ivan? Yay. Yay? He's a, Borsati Carla? Aye. Brown Ellen Marlene? Not here. Aye. Brown Victor? Deacon Brown? Norbert Brian? Nay. Burke Michael? Aye. Campbell Sadie? Christian Evelyn is not here. Carl Gale? Clark Jones? Coleman is not here. Dickerson, Orlean? Aye. Eastman Lauda? Not here. Aye. Aye? Okay, aye. Evans, it's not here. Figueroa Alfredo? Gibson Barbara? Aye. Johnny's not here. Green Chantel? Robert Hall? Aye. William Hall? Aye. Hayes Lisa? Aye. Horton is not here. It's not here. James Theodore? Aye. Lanzano Carl? Aye. Martin Lucille? Not here. Mary McLeod? Aye. Michael Walter? McNeil Walter, I'm sorry. Figueroa? Moore Angela? I'm seeing the cross-eye already. Clinton Mike? Aye. Carmen Ortiz? Abstain. Porter Frank? Aye. Powell Claudia? Aye. John, Anthony Reed? Aye. Robbins Dina? Not here. Roldan Felix? Aye. Sulky May Thomas? Not here. Stricker Carl? Aye. Nicole Weir. And Nicole, not here. She must have left. And Norma Wiles, not here. Okay.
The ayes have it, the request is denied.
Okay, thank you.
And you can tell the owner next time he should show up.
Okay, folks, we have one more to go, one more BSA application. So let's get this complete. All right,
Great.
go ahead.
Okay, ladies and gentlemen, the next hearing is BSA calendar number, right here, 2017-205BZ and 2017-206BZ, supportive housing. Okay, that's fine.
All right, we're going to pull that screen down so he can give his presentation. Folks.
Oh, dear. Okay.
Okay.
Shall I start, or so wait? Here we go.
There you go.
Feature presentation.
Let's get it.
That's all right. Yes, sir. That's what I said. Just leave it there so people have something to look at. Okay. And so if people want us to go to the plans, and then we have it set up. Okay. Okay. Pardon? It's affordable. Okay. Great. It's not a show. Right. Mm-hmm. Okay. May I start?
You guys are ready?
I am ready.
Please announce who you are.
Very good.
And then start the presentation.
Thank you. Thank you, sir. Good evening, everyone. Thank you for bearing with us as we just set things up. My name is Stuart Beckerman. I am from the law office of Slater and Beckerman, and we're the attorneys for the Doe Fund in regard to their applications for zoning variance. With me tonight are three people from the Doe Fund. I have John McDonald, who's the Chief Operating Officer, who's going to talk about the Doe Fund, and we have Larry Gordon, who's the Director of Housing Development, and Felipe Vargas, who's the Vice President of Programs. And also tonight are MHG architects, Herb Mandel, who's the architect for the project. So why are we here? We are here because we need two variances. One is for 555 Nereid Avenue, which is, and let me just open by saying the reason we need a variance is that we are in a M11 manufacturing zoning district, which only allows manufacturing, light manufacturing, and commercial uses, which would include, for example, a homeless shelter, which is considered a transient accommodation, which oddly enough is considered a commercial use. But we are now proposing to take this existing building and convert it to permanent housing, which is not allowed in an M11 manufacturing district. So, as I said, we have two applications, one for 555 Nereid Avenue, which is the existing building, the former U.S. Army Reserve building, a three-story and basement building, which is proposed to be converted to permanent housing to be owned and operated by the Doe Fund. And they can talk specifically about what they anticipate, what they'd like to do, and what their plans are. And then the second variance is for 4449 Bronx Boulevard, which is an existing accessory parking lot for the former Federal Reserve building, which will be used as accessory parking for the permanent housing. And again, because it's accessory parking for the permanent housing, that also requires a variance. The two properties are not contiguous. They're connected by an easement, which sits across the property owned by Montefiore at the corner property at the corner of Nereid and Bronx Boulevard. Just briefly, I think many of you know the history. Originally, this was owned by the feds, and pursuant to an agreement with the Department of Homeless Services, a restrictive declaration was imposed on the property that it must be used for housing for the homeless and services as well. So permits were obtained for an as-of-right conversion to a homeless facility. 63% of the building was complete. But because of, I think, the efforts of the community board and elected officials and other stakeholders, that project was pulled. And we are now proceeding, instead of a 200-bed shelter, we are now proceeding with 90 studio apartments with, and if you'd like, we can go through the plans later, some additional facilities on the property that are largely support services, but also facilities that may become available to the public as well. So I think I'll just leave it at that, and I will now turn the mic over to John McDonald from the Doe Fund, who can talk about the Doe Fund and the project. Thank you very much.
Good evening, everyone. Good evening. Ladies and gentlemen, members of the community and Community Board 12. My name is John McDonald. I'm the Chief Operating Officer of the Doe Fund, Inc. The Doe Fund's been in existence since 1990. We've helped many thousands of people break the cycle of homelessness. We're a not-for-profit corporation that offers paid transitional work opportunities to formerly homeless adults and also folks coming out of prison. People in our program are offered housing, paid transitional work, counseling, educational and trade opportunities, career training, and substance abuse services. After about 9 months in the program, we work with our employer partners to help procure jobs for the people in our program and help obtain permanent housing for those individuals. We have helped thousands and thousands of people break the homeless cycle, and many of the graduates live now in the Bronx. The Doe Fund has always been aware of the critical shortage of affordable housing for not only our trainees, but New Yorkers in general. And it's because of this, over the years, that we've also developed a separate track to also build permanent supportive housing. So we offer safe, affordable places for people to live that need the housing. I want to introduce Larry Gordon, who is our Director of Housing. He can speak briefly about the specific Muller residence and what kind of services we offer the community and the folks that will live there. Thank you very much for hearing me.
Thank you for having me here tonight. As John and Stuart have mentioned, the project will be 90 studio units. We recently received a New York State award for social services. Felipe can talk about the populations we intend. One of the things we're proud of the fact we're in this community. We own property on Girard Avenue, on Crotona Park East, and on Webster Avenue. So we've been here, and we're going to continue to stay here. As most of you have heard or know the history, this had been originally earmarked to be a 200-bed transitional facility, predominantly for single men. We heard the voices of the community, the state officials, the local officials all heard that.
And also reacting to the saturation.
Right, of transitional housing. So we're here, with our hands open saying, we heard you, and we're here to develop an affordable, supportive housing building. 90 studio units, supportive services, there'll be classrooms, a library, 24-hour security. There'll be approximately 20 full-time staff, that's programmatic staff, security, night managers, and maintenance. The construction will occur probably next year at some point. No general contractor has been selected, but it's our intention, and I can tell you as part of the requirements, there will be an MWBE requirement, there will be local, most of the general contractors we know happen to be based in the Bronx, so we're certainly aware of the need to support the local economy in that way as well. I think that's it. We're here to answer any questions. Oh, one more thing. We just opened a 60-bed affordable permanent housing project at 1420 Crotona Park East. That's in Community Board 3, 60 units. It's a beautiful building located right on the park. I would welcome anybody who would like to take a tour of one of our permanent residents. I'd be delighted to make those arrangements. I think people have certain concerns or trepidations, but if you were to come and see what affordable supportive housing looks like, I think you'd be very surprised, and we welcome the opportunity.
And I'd just like to make one last comment about the 200 beds that we are going to serve here. The city, reacting to the needs of the community, agreed for us to move those 200 beds to Bedford-Stuyvesant, where we already have a program. So we're not actually losing the 200 beds. And also, we received approval from Community Board 3 in Bedford-Stuyvesant to expand our transitional homeless program.
So before, I think at this point it's, given the time, and I'm sure, and the patience of everyone here, it's probably appropriate to turn this over to questions from board members, but I just want to add, just as a human being, yesterday I went on a site visit of I was just curious, I went on the site visit of the Crotona Park East facility. I was so impressed. It is beautiful, the apartments are beautiful, it is extremely well maintained, the people who work there are terrific. So again, echoing what was just said, you're more than welcome to see other facilities to get a sense of what could happen here. Thank you.
Okay, I have a question to ask you, and correct me if I'm wrong. I remember when we initially turned down the 200-bed transitional housing, we were told by our elected officials that this housing would now become housing for veterans and senior citizens. And I wonder why do you have so many studios? You're not going to put families in here?
Hey, let me address the population in terms of veterans. As most of you know, our former President Barack Obama and Mayor Bloomberg and Mayor de Blasio focused heavily on providing permanent affordable housing for veterans. So the good sign is there aren't many left. We had 135 single men, veterans at our Porter Avenue project in East Williamsburg. They're no longer there. They've all been given permanent housing. So in the next 2 years, as this project comes to fruition, we expect veterans? Sure, but there is not a population or a social services program available right now for veterans. The market has dried up. They've all been housed.
Also, this housing opportunity does not preclude veterans. It's open to veterans. It's affordable housing and supportive, so it could house veterans.
Right. In terms of seniors, again, half the population will be open. I could tell you at our Crotona Park, I'd say about 40% of the population there, of the 60 units, are seniors, 62 and over. We've received tenants from NYCHA, New York City Housing Authority's wait list of seniors, so that's a certain population we can certainly tap into. We are not wed to any one population in particular at the moment.
All right, what I'm going to do, I'm going to entertain questions from the board, and my friend right over there has the first one.
Sure.
Use the mic, please.
Can you briefly explain the difference between your program and the transitional program that which you spoke? Basically, it sounds like it's the same thing to me.
No, the transitional program isn't permanent housing. For example, we operate about 700 beds of transitional residence. That's the program that John spoke about earlier, where we provide job training and we place people in jobs. And it's exactly that. It's transitional. They stay with us 9 to 12 months, and then they're placed in independent housing. This is permanent, affordable, and supportive housing. So it's a permanent place for someone to live.
These tenants will essentially have rent-stabilized leases. This is as permanent as, that's the difference. We're talking about a signed lease with us as landlord. They have every right that a rent-stabilized tenant would have versus transitory housing in a shelter system. What we offer at our transitional facilities, John was giving you a background of what we do at our facilities. In terms of programmatics in a permanent affordable, I think Felipe can talk about some of the things.
Well, it just so happens that at this particular facility, we will be offering career planning and career counseling and referrals. We offer a host of different occupational trainings and educational programs to some of our other facilities.
Okay.
I'd like to just add, if I may, just follow up on, I have something to add to the answer to your question. When it was a transitional facility with 200 beds, it was dormitory style. We are now going to have congregate style. These are 90 apartments, each one with a kitchen and a bathroom, studio apartments. That's the key difference. This is permanent housing. They look like anyone else's apartment, only probably nicer than a lot of our apartments because they're brand new.
Hello, I have a couple of questions for you. The first question is, you said you have the general contractor. What is his name? What is
We have not identified a general contractor.
You say you deal with all the contractors in the Bronx. You're not familiar with?
Well, the one that actually began the project when it was a transitional facility was a local-based, Bronx-based contractor.
So you don't know who?
Oh, I can tell you, it was Crescent Construction from Bronx, but at this point, we're going to have to repurpose, since we have repurposed the project, we're going to have to rebid the project and obtain at least a minimum of 3 bids from general contractors.
Okay. I'm sorry, I just want to piggyback on that question. When you purpose the contractor, will that be a Bronx contractor is my question?
It will be open to a multitude
So
of
you
contractors.
don't know if that contract's going to be from the Bronx or not?
I don't know, but the previous one was, and
Okay.
he'd like to stay on the project.
Okay.
Now, the second question is,
Robert,
when is the project supposed to start, and how long is the project going to be?
Typically, housing projects take about 2 years. We have to get through the BSA process and then close on the financing. So if we close in June of next year, 2018, we expect to open in the spring of 2020.
June?
June 2020 would be, takes 2 years to build.
All right.
all right, Robert.
Now, also, I have another question. Are you going to be putting community benefits in this package? Like, I want to know what is the community going to benefit off of this, because what happens is they come and they do this construction, right? They talk about when the construction is over, but we're talking about the construction, me, myself. And I want to know, are you going to be providing training? Because what happens is they come here, they give $10 an hour, and then they leave. So what happens is that that person that worked for that $10 an hour doesn't get trained. They at the same spot when you leave. So you come in the community and you really don't provide any type of assistance to the community.
You're talking about the people who are going
The
to
construction
construct.
aspect, actually building it. Can somebody talk to that? Can somebody speak
I
to that?
can't speak to what the contractors are going to do. I mean,
Yeah,
No, I'm talking
wish
about
I could-
community benefits. Can you put that in the package, community benefits?
Well, in terms of what the general contractor will provide his employees, I'm confused.
I'm talking about community benefits in the package, all right? Like, when you bid it, you can put community benefits. Now, I don't just want you to just say Bronx residents. I want you to say the community board, the zip codes that surround that project. You know, a lot of times they say community benefits, but they say the Bronx. The Bronx is big. We want those zip codes that directly affect that project right there.
When it's open, there's some community space there that can be used by people in the community.
Let me just interrupt. I think what you're saying is you can't respond to that at this point because you don't have the contractor. Am I correct?
Correct.
Okay.
Typically, there is a portion, as I mentioned, NWBE, that's minority women-owned businesses. That'll be a substantial, maybe 30 to 40% of this project. Those are typically very local-based organizations. As I mentioned, the contractor who worked on this project was from the Bronx. I don't know his hiring practices, but I also mentioned that we're going to have at least approximately 20 full-time positions that we certainly would endorse getting anyone from the
construction
Bronx.
aspect, sir, I'm talking about the construction aspect.
Then I will defer. I can
We
come
want the
back to the
community to
G. I can
benefit
come
off of
back
that,
when
too.
we identify the general contractor.
I think also what we're saying is that we want to have a Bronx contractor, and we want to have Bronx participation in the construction and
As
also
do we.
educating. I think
As
that's
do
what
we.
he's saying, basically. All right, folks, look,
Thank you.
it's after 10 o'clock. Please keep your questions, no, questions just from the board. Please keep your questions brief. And we need to vote on this, and I need to get you guys home. Okay, so let's, all right, just a moment, sir. Let the board members,
All right.
board members first.
Listen, before you leave, gentlemen, I wanted to get those addresses, Webster Avenue and Katona Park. Were those the places?
Yeah. 1420 Crotona Park East.
Okay.
That opened in December. That's 60 units of permanent supportive housing.
Okay, and one other thing, I want to take it a step further, and I believe the other two speakers kind of conferred. We are trying to get work right here in these zip codes with regards to this opportunity that you're creating. You know, it's kind of scary because, you know, you hit it right on the head as far as what we need here. However, we would like the construction to come across for the people who need work right here in these zip codes. Let's just call it the way we got it. Other than that, I believe you will be back before us with the BSA.
Sure.
So you're on point, but we want to take it all the way.
This isn't the first time we've heard these from
Okay.
So the address for Webster Avenue, sir, is 3100 Webster Avenue.
Gotcha.
And we are using Galaxy Contracting, and they
Okay.
are a Bronx-based
Galaxy.
contractor.
Thank you, thank you.
All right, have all the board members ask their questions? before we go to the-
I have one.
All right.
So this question is for Mr. McDonald, the CEO. I need really, I'm gonna make this short and sweet. Define affordable.
Affordable is defined by basically 60% of AMI, area medium income.
Okay, so what type of,
Typically, the range for singles about 60,000. So 40. So
Folks.
So 60% of that, typically, it's about 34,000 for a single person.
And that's the AMI in this particular area. That's
Correct.
the AMI. in
You
this area.
use Manhattan's,
Yeah.
not Manhattan, the metropolitan areas.
The next question for Mr. McDonald is the following. What is your idea of security? You stated during your presentation, and actually that was just one slide. I thought I was expecting to see multiple slides, but I just saw, I guess, what is the rendering, and you stated that you would have 20 staff positions plus security. What is your idea of security?
Well, security in my mind would be 24/7 security. We have a guard stationed in the front of the building 24/7. And basically a safe haven.
Okay. And lastly, identify your tenants. How would you procure your tenants?
They would be referrals from the city of New York. And the affordable units would be lottery based.
Okay, so, and just one question on that. Now, referred by the city of New York, does that mean all other boroughs? Am I correct?
Correct.
Uh-huh. So my question is, how do we get a preference for the folks in this zip code or the Bronx?
On the supportive side, the referrals will come from different city agencies or even state agencies. On the affordable, community-based, that's a lottery.
Okay, all right. Just wanted to make that clear to the board.
Yeah, the money comes, at the end of the day, money comes from the federal government. We can't necessarily
I get it.
earmark a particular
I get
community.
it. We just want to, in our community, pretty much want to support that. Okay.
Question. I do.
Yeah, go ahead.
So, gentlemen, I presume you gentlemen have families, and my question is, would you feel comfortable with this facility being utilized in your neighborhood?
First, I wouldn't call it a facility. I'd call it an apartment building.
Oh,
It's got 24-hour security. It's got, new appliances. It's green communities. It's.
I'm not answering the question, sir.
Excuse me. Let's listen.
Would I be? I would welcome. Yes. The answer is yes. I live in Manhattan. I welcome it, and I'd welcome you to come visit our property that we just finished. I think you'd be very surprised.
Thank you.
Excuse me if I'm being a bit facetious. The only reason why I state it as this is because, and I say this to the community board, is that I get the contention that we're willing to, compromise. But what we're failing to remember is the compromise that the Bronx continues to endure. And especially this community board here, where we tend to give a finger and they take our arm. So let's keep that in mind and not forget and not just settle because we are now receiving a compromise. Thank you.
Okay. Any other board members? Okay. Question?
Good evening. This is a public-private partnership, and the deed is held by HPD. Who holds the deed if it's taxpayers along with private partnership building this?
So the federal government deeded the building over to the Doe Fund. So the Doe Fund owns the building.
Thank you.
Let me follow up on Ivan's question. So the question previous to the one that you just asked was, and I think the question was to the gentleman that is not Mr. McDonald, but someone else. But I'm going to ask all of you gentlemen this. The question that was asked previously was, would you be willing to have your family in this facilities? And then the answer was, well, yes, after hedging a bit, because we're going to have all these new things. My question to you is, you just presented one slide. So why didn't you present that to not only us as a board, but as a community as well? Because right now you have people that I'm sure you have skeptical board members such as myself. I'll just tell you where I'm at right now. And I'm sure that you have people in the audience that are skeptical as well. So if you're really touting this, well, you say you wouldn't call it a facility, but if you're touting this quote unquote residence as such, why didn't you have schematics up here? Because to me, I'm a skeptic, so that's saying to me that you're hiding something. So can you explain that, please?
In terms of the three gentlemen, I assume I'm one of them, I would say absolutely yes. I'm actually a Bronx resident, so yes, I would have an apartment building like that in my community. And in terms of that was just a drawing, that was just an illustration of what the facility looks like.
Okay, let's have some quiet here.
If you'd like,
And before you speak, be recognized by the chair. Thank you. Do I have any other questions from the board? Because I have some speakers in the audience. Okay, Frank, I'm not going to, I'll come back to you. Frank, I'm not going to murder your second name this time. Just. And we have a Supreme Court justice with the same name.
You know, my belief was that when de Blasio, Mayor de Blasio, the other day said that the Muller building was not going to be a shelter, but that it was going to be it's going to be not a homeless shelter. It was going to be affordable housing for seniors and veterans. Now, if he knew that all of these slots, let's say, were filled and that we didn't need any more housing for these people, why did he make that statement? That's the first thing. And I do believe that there are still seniors out there that need apartment housing. And so I'm against this whole thing altogether. I would rather scrap it and think something else for this property. Okay, because I'm not in agreement with it. We already have a bad place there with that shelter that's opened up across the street on Nyrate Avenue, which has created a lot of problems for a lot of people. A lot of women are afraid to walk around that area. I don't know what they're going to put in there, because they haven't really told me the people they're going to put in there. Are they going to be out there joining these other people? No, we got to have more than that, and they got to come up with a better thing. I'd rather have affordable housing for seniors and veterans. If they can't get that, I don't know. It can't be what they're saying. I'm sorry, but this is the way it is. Thank you very much.
All right, the next speaker is Tanya Brown. I'll get back to you there, James.
Good evening. I just have a couple of questions. So I think the one was kind of skirted around. So we said that the units that were being created were studio units, so that would give the impression that they were for single, and I believe we asked, was it single males? I don't know if we got a definitive answer in that respect. You also talked about security and the fact that there is a security guard posted in front of the building, but we didn't answer what exact areas that security guard covering. For instance, with the shelter, the security only covers the individuals inside the building and nothing outside of the building. And the issue is what happens outside of the building. So when you say that there's security, what is the security guard covering, or what are they securing exactly? And then my last question was, you mentioned the affordable units. So is this facility some type of split unit where there are only a certain number of units in the building for affordable housing, and then the other units are for what? So to specifically define what these units were for, I know we already have out there now that we're not even sure what population is going into the building, but what are the actual units? If there are affordable units, what's the ratio to the other units that are going to be in the space?
So the population, the supportive population, it's youth aging out of foster care and youth and homeless youth. That's 60%. The other 40% are affordable units. There can be male, there can be female. I also want to emphasize, we spoke about the Crotona Park facilities we just opened. By the way, that the supportive element of it, we have it focuses on seniors, but we operate 306 units across the city of affordable and supportive housing. And we'd also invite you to visit those facilities. And you'll see the quality facilities that we operate, how secure they are. In terms of security in the perimeter, we have a guard on duty 24 hours a day for the security of the building, but we also have cameras around the perimeter. And we think that is responsible property management, by the way. That has nothing to do with the type of facility that we operate. We have that at all our facilities.
Okay, the next speaker is Maurice Fawcett.
You know, my mentor was a captain in the Rangers. He taught me the purpose of an officer is to complete the mission. Always know what the mission is. I'll make this brief, but I'm going to ask you to do one of two things. Either reject this or postpone it, and I'll come back here and do a presentation. The definition of affordable housing has nothing to do with 60-40. It's about a people's ability to pay. I can stand here and I'll quote John Maynard Keynes and Keynes in economics and everything, or I'll give you the 5-second version. 5-second version is that a black man would not need low-income housing if he had the jobs building the housing. That's what that brother's trying to say. Pay a man $80,000 or $90,000 a year, and he doesn't need affordable housing. He can go buy one. Now, go fund, and you can make a model for America. Turn that into a condominium. Find homeless veterans and let them have that apartment so that cash flow over the next 30 years is not going into the Dole funds and their $500,000 or $600,000 a year salaries, but it goes to our people. It's proven in politics the biggest factor in our communities is non-owner occupied housing. Okay, go around, like I said, I told you, y'all right up my alley. Okay, now when they did the 90 units, did you not run through your software projection of how much revenue you would get if you did 1 bedrooms? And did you not do a projection of how much you could charge if you got 2 bedrooms? Am I correct? That's how they do it. That's why in our city, mothers complain that, wow, this is a 2-bedroom, should have been a 1, because they run it through the software about how much can I charge if I get 90 studios versus 75 1-bedrooms. You got it? Oh, this is a racket. And that's why in New York City, I call most of the housing the Reverend Chicken Bone housing, because half the ministers have sold us out because they don't know absolutely nothing about economics. Nothing. I live 200 feet from there. And I'd be more than happy to come back, do a presentation, get your entire board and sit me up there to ask the question. Did you not run through your software how much revenue you could get if you did 1-bedrooms versus studios? That's how it goes. I've been to the workshops. What did Curtis Blow say? It's all about money and the damn thing funny. This doesn't have nothing to do with housing, homeless people, veterans. It has to do with profits. Right? Now, what is your projected cash flow on this project? How much do y'all anticipate? I'm going to use the word profit because in nonprofit you don't say profit, so I'll use the terminology. How much positive cash flow do you project out of that facility? Positive, see? So you can't say profit. You understand what I'm saying? You say positive cash flow. How much is projected out of this facility?
The Doe Fund is a nonprofit. We're a 501c3. The money we receive goes back into our programs and back into acquiring new sites. In terms of the rent structure of this building, it'll all be affordable. So the rents are going to be capped. I will tell you today, a studio apartment is about $793 a month. After reducing expenses, this property will cash flow about $10,000 a year after debt service.
How much do you receive per apartment? You said it'd be capped at $793, but what is your subsidy added on to?
$793.
Your total cash flow is $793. Then let me ask you this. Why don't you build a condominium over there and give the deeds to the veterans? Then they'll have a better interest in the community because they own it. Am I right? They have a better interest to take care of it, so if they get it for $60,000 in 5 years, hey, I bought my house up here. You know how you break the cycle of poverty, sir? I'm from 115th and Lenox, part of the drug capital of the world. My mother worked 3 jobs rather than get a welfare check. If I ran through the educational conference, that's why I'm critical.
Okay.
Well, I see the guys out there singing in the street and everything.
Sir,
I'll shut up. But I grew up around the corner from Mosque number 7. I'm not a Muslim. But I subscribe to what Elijah Muhammad said. The black man will never be free until he do the self. Y'all got to be careful these white people.
Okay, hold on. That's not what this is about. It's not what this is about. Okay. All right. Okay. All right. We have. All right. All right. We have another gentleman to speak.
Yeah.
We have another gentleman to speak.
Yeah, go ahead.
All right. Thank you.
Let the other speaker speak. Go ahead, sir.
All right, what I wanted to say is when they said the AMI, I was the first one back there when they said 60,000. I know that the AMI in the Bronx is not the same AMI as in Manhattan and Brooklyn because it goes by the area that you live around. So once I said no, 60,000, because the average person around here doesn't make 60,000, then they went down to 34,000. All right, but I just want everybody to know you got to be careful when they mention the AMI because you're not pulling nothing over our eyes again. Just like Maurice was talking, Maurice is an expert in economics, and so do Frank and I, we go around this neighborhood, we protect this neighborhood, we know everything that's going around this neighborhood, all right? We want that for our seniors and for our veterans. That's what we need that for, all right? We don't need nobody else moving over there because we see what happened with the shelter that's across the street, and we still continue to give them help, all right? Because we need more to be done there. But make no mistake, all right? The AMI is not the same as here, it's the same as Manhattan. It is not. It's much higher in Manhattan.
Okay, thank you very much. I'm going to close the hearing if we don't have any more speakers. And now I declare the hearing closed. Okay, on BS, I got to put my glasses on. BS 2017-205BZ and 2017-206BZ, supportive housing. As the chair of the Land Use Committee, I recommend that we turn this down only because one of the reasons they said most of the veterans are taken care of, and that's a load of hogwash. Believe me, it's a load of hog. I would use another word, but we got ladies here. But it's a load of hogwash because I know veterans are living in flea-bitten, rat-infested hotels, and they're telling, I would give the veterans first choice over here. So I'm making a recommendation, the board turn it down. We're going to take a vote. Don't leave. So the Land Users Committee recommendation is to turn down the variance for both.
All right, let me just say this before we vote, I just want to let you gentlemen know that we do appreciate the fact that you came to this board and you gave an earnest presentation. And that was an interaction that we had, and we do appreciate it. It's almost going on 11 o'clock. So whatever the vote, whatever the board decides to do, and the board is going to make a decision. But we do appreciate that you came, and we do appreciate that you stayed, and you gave us a very good, strong presentation. Also, the members of the board, the members of the community, I appreciate the fact that you had input. And that's what we need more of. We need you to come here, not just when there's an issue, but when there's just not a major issue. We need you to come and still give your support. So this is very important. We had a very, I think, effective interaction tonight. So whatever the vote is, this is important. The process is important. So I just want to thank you, gentlemen, for coming. And board members, I'm sorry you're here 11:15, but let's get this vote done so I can send you home. Okay.
No more questions. The hearing's been closed. All right, Madam Secretary, call the roll, please.
And a yay is?
A yay is for defeating the proposal. A nay is that you support the housing.
Franklin Alpo, not here. Benitez Judith. Bennett Taguria. Barry Hazel is not here. Bluefield Murray is not here. Ivan Anthony Boras.
Aye.
Bolsari Carla. Aye. Brown Elaine. Marlene, I'm sorry. Victor Brown. Aye. Deacon Brown. Aye. Norbert Bryan.
Norvis.
Norbert Bryan. Michael Burke.
Aye.
Campbell Sadie. Christian Evelyn Lincoln. Clark Gale. Aye. Todd is not here. Coleman Berdisha.
Oh.
She just left, right? Okay. Dickerson Darlene. Eastman Lauda. Eastman Lauda. Evans Raymond not here. Figueroa Alfredo. Gibson LaGrande Barbara. Johnny Goff not here. Green Chantel. Robert Hall. William Hall. Lisa Hayes. Isaac John not here. Horton is not here. James Theodore. Carl Lanzano. Lucille is not here. McLeod Mary. Walter McNeil. Moore is not here. Mike Clinton. Carmen Ortiz, aye. Porter Frank. Not here. Porter Frank, not here. Powell Claudia. Anthony Reed. Dr. Roberts is not here. Roldan Felix. Sulky is not here. Stricker Carl. Mr. Carl Sticker. Nicole Lear. And Norman is not here. Okay, the ayes got it.
Passes unanimously that the request for the zoning variances be denied.
Okay, thank you, thank you, thank you. Motion to adjourn. Go home, please. Motion to adjourn. Go home and thank you.
Safe home.
Thank you.
From the north to the south to the west to the east, we are expanding our services and upgrading technology at Lehman College. And now, Bronxites have an innovative media production facility in the East Bronx at Mercy College in the Hutch Metro Center. The windows on the East Bronx studio, a state-of-the-art control room, media labs for production and training, and other media-capable spaces. Training, workforce development, leading-edge technology, and programs that help you share your ideas, your voice, on your channels, locally and globally. Build media and technology skills at BronxNet and build your dreams.